just like that, we're back. We have the official round one pairings up. We have our match ready for y'all in this first Chopper Cup. Again, just a reminder that we're going to be showing you pretty much the entirety of this Chopper Cup. And as we get more information about how many other Chopper Cups fire, we'll bring y'all hopefully the finals of those matches so you can see just the best of the best square off for these beautiful reindeer boys. And also a reminder that if you ever want more information, be sure to use the exclamation point giveaway in the chat to learn about the end of the stream. And as you can see here as well, our first matchup is going to be a doozy. We have on the left Brian Walsh playing Rob Lucci, and on the right we have Nicholas playing Blue Nami. I'm very excited. These are both decks we could not have hoped to have seen yesterday, given the way all the decks shaped up. But this should be a pretty interesting one. Tell me what your first thoughts are, Sep, about...
We're coming back to us. We're getting
no.
word that there's a repair. So unfortunate happens, but that's life. What I would have said was I think Nami actually has a very favorable matchup into that. Mostly because any kind of removal they may run is bounce effects, which gets around Borsalino and Fukuru. And then on top of that, their blockers really end up not mattering. Unless like they actually try to go for more character. It depends on the Nami build. But Nami's not really known for attacking your opponent, so now all this blocker value that black can generate, kind of useless. And they can just go and play their game of trying to mill themselves out. If they end up needing a Zeph, I mean that also gets around the Borsalinos easily bouncing stuff, or the Fukurus, I should say. But yeah, what do you think? Like, are you a Lucci stan? Do you think Lucci has that in the bag, or I think Nami's advantaged?
I think of all the black decks, Lucci is the naturally more aggressive one, which is going to be super huge. And I think the one thing that Lucci has going for it is that any chance it has to use its leader ability to restand and attack again, it probably should just go for that, because Nami is not the deck that's going to constantly be harassing you with attacks. So just maintaining a solid enough defense to stop the random Zeph or the random Usopp that might come down is all you really need to worry about. Because after that, if they do anything that doesn't immediately attack you or you don't immediately have removal for, all you care about is attacking them as many times as possible, so that way you can win the game and not give them enough time to actually mill themselves out. Like, that to me seems like the basic game plan for Rob Lucci, and he does that better than I think any other black deck. But something we could see being a little funny is if there are a lot of characters in the Nami deck, just kind of enabling a bunch of other effects. And while we still have confirmation now that the repair is done, we still have Brian Walsh playing Rob Lucci. We now have Dylan playing Katakuri as the matchup. So again, two decks we did not see that much of yesterday, or at all yesterday, and should be a fun matchup still squaring out. I would say a bit more normal of a matchup as well.
Paper, hosh.
Oh, also we're seeing some good RPS game theory action going on there, which we love to see.
Paper.
Looks like
wait,
Dylan got that
Katakuri
one.
finally won. That's so exciting.
So he saw the future and knew what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be super fun. I personally did not think I'd see nearly as much Katakuri as we saw yesterday, but I think it's becoming out as the preferred yellow deck with the brand new Yamato support at the end of OPO3. There was a stint in the middle there where I think where Big Mom was kind of like the talk of the town for a while, but Katakuri being a consistent 7K attacker, we talked about yesterday, just super consistent, super good.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to like, I think at the end of the day, being able to constantly have information on your own life in a yellow deck is really strong. Whereas with Big Mom, like you can craft your life towards the later to the mid and late game, but knowing what your life is early, kind of moving it to the top and bottom early is kind of nice. And then on top of that, for one, Don being a 7K attacker throughout most of the game ends up being really efficient and just demands too much just demands too many responses from your opponent early on that it kind of interrupts most of what they do. And then yeah, you can just curve out with the new Yamato pretty well.
Yeah, like now, like we see the Katakuri player going first. Back before that Yamato came out, I don't think that would have been a thing you did super easily, because your odd curve is nowhere near as good as your even curve. But now it's way more balanced out for these decks.
And Lucci starting off looks like with a brand new with a
Sparrow or whatever, right?
Yeah. So Spandam. One of the searchers.
I think it's the CB9 searcher, and I think he added was that Fukuru? What was that?
I think it was the I thought it might have been Fuguru. I also saw the girl. I forget her name right now.
Shukigi, the 2K counter.
Oh yeah.
So here we have the Katakuri effect. It's going to be left on top, which is normally a telltale sign of a trigger, or as a Katakuri player, every now and then I'll just put a card that I really want in my hand next turn. Just
Oh,
like leave it
absolutely. If it's like a 7-drop mom to curve out, or a 5-drop Yamato to curve out, would be really good too. And we're technically going to pass with this 2-Don open.
Yeah, you don't want to play a cheap card that can just be easily KO'd by every single black card, and you probably didn't have anything else to do with that 2-Don. And 7K is a perfectly fine investment to get a good swing in, so there's really no reason to invest more of your active Don just to make your attack, 9K? Just don't need to.
We're going to play Tashigi.
Tashigi, that's what it was. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
No, it's all good. It's a lot of syllables with the Japanese names. They get tough. Like
And
Fuguru took me a while.
Right, like there's Suru and Tashigi and like a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna attack 6K. We took that life. As you said, it was a card they just preferred to have in their hand, so no trigger. And we're gonna go in for 7 again with the leader. Look at their own top. I think it's always correct to just look at your unless you already know what the top card is. I think it's always correct to just look at your own life as Katakuri. You want to know what you're expecting, what you can and cannot have coming in your way versus what your opponent may or may not have. And like there's just too many unknowns. It's just better to create your own consistent game plan that way.
I would say the only deck that I would really want to know what their life cards are like any red deck that isn't Whitebeard. Like if it's Whitebeard, there's no point. They're going to see all those cards eventually anyway. But if it's like any other red deck, I want to always peek and be like, okay, what can I possibly deny you? Guaranteed deny you. There we see, I believe that is Charlotte. Oh my, Smoothie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Smoothie.
When attacking, you're able to take your own the top of your own life to add a 2K to the character in the attack.
Yep, just a consistent 4K 4-drop 5K. I don't really think that effect will be activated anytime soon in this matchup because you don't really want to take your own life if you don't have to.
And Sakazuki on curve, nice.
That's a pretty good removal spell if I ever seen one. But we have the potential to respond with like a 7-drop Charlotte Linlin. We can use Katakuri once again, play like a powerful 4-drop or 6-drop or something like that.
Yeah, we do know we have the Katakuri in hand, so yeah, that's look like that's what's gonna happen.
We can't Katakuri because I think we're on 7 and not 8, but
oh yeah, you're right.
We can do 7-drop Charlotte Linlin, which basically either heals us or makes our opponent get rid of one of their life, which I think is coming down right now.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah,
and everyone always trashes. Sometimes I'm like, take an extra life card. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm inclined to agree. Like most of the time, I feel like when I 7 mom, I want them to trash their own life. And then when they make me heal, it like I almost feel like it almost doesn't end up mattering towards the end game. Yeah, sure, I had the extra life, but unless like the board was like if like right now we're in an even board state, it's very easy for Lucci to kind of like go for that extra life anyway. So I just feel like it, truly may not end up mattering. So trashing your own life ends up being worse for your game plan than just having to attack one more time.
And I love the decision from Dylan here to not attack with. Oh wait, no, that's not a Smoothie. That's a Puddin. Never mind. I thought they chose not to attack with a Smoothie.
Yeah. All right, Sakazuki going in for 7. We're gonna 2K, 1K. Ooh, gets rid of a blocker. That's interesting. I guess free blockers. It's tough. And then Tashigi, activating Tashigi effect, and that will be able to get rid of the big mom.
Making it a 5 cost, and then Sakazuki can KO it because it's now 6 or less.
Yeah. But now the Tashigi has been used up, and I expect this Pudding to go in and attacking at it. We can't really leave the black combo cards on the board for free like that.
Well, I mean, if we wanted to, we can probably just go like Katakuri swing at it, because if we have our 8-drop Katakuri, something we can do is just get rid of that Sakazuki and then attack into it again if it attacks next turn with Katakuri. That could be our way of controlling board more consistently without needing to commit too much Don. But we could see an attack into the Sakazuki that's rested here because it's going to be 7 on 7. No, it's going to be at the Tashigi.
It seemed like it was just Tashigi. I see what you're saying, though. Get rid of the bait, or have your opponent discard more cards because their hand sizes are already starting to get pretty low after 2 Sakazuki effects.
Yeah.
Um,
Going 2
and
for 1 is sometimes not the best thing in the world.
yeah, but Tashigi will be KO'd. And we're gonna 8-drop Katakuri. Just get rid of
Beautiful.
one. Won't end up mattering which one. Leaving it at top. I don't know if I agree with that. Where like I feel like if I was in that seat, I would have left it at the bottom so they couldn't use it again.
I think the thought is like you don't have it right now, and when you do have it, I'll know. And what are you gonna do? Get rid of my 10 drop? But
That's
it's very
true.
possible. Oh, I guess we're planning to 10 drop next turn and just trash it.
That
That's
could
what's
be it too. I think fundamentally like knowing that Sakazuki is a 0 counter card, giving your opponent their last life as a 0 counter card is always wonderful for math.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think putting it at the bottom might have been a bit more consistent, but I think overall won't necessarily
I
matter
don't
too
think
much
it
in this
does.
game.
Yeah,
If it does, we'll pay attention and see if it does.
we're nitpicking, or I'm nitpicking. All right, so you're Lucci. You're at this is finally the 10 on turn, and Kuzan would get rid of the Katakuri here. Kuzan's -5, and then he can KO a 3 cost or 4 cost or less.
I think he only KOs a 0, actually.
Oh, then it's 0. Yeah. Oh, we're
On
gonna go
play
for
anyway.
8, so we're definitely not Kuzaning. Or is it
Which, I
7?
mean, which is a little bit of a bummer because having Kuzan established before the big mom comes down is going to be super huge. And oh, we have the Charlotte Paraspero coming down out of the life. That is the first trigger of the game. Discarding Thunderbolt from hand, not really going to need that. All the cards are too big that actually matter, and we don't want to take more of our life this late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlotte Paraspero is a super awesome card, especially against the removal heavy black. It's almost a card you never want to remove if you have the choice not to, because it just gives another card into your opponent's hand that's probably better than it.
Oh yeah, being floating effects or replacement effects are just too good. That's like one of the biggest reasons why Paraspero is the one that always is run at forward, like unquestionably in every yellow deck right now. Part of hand advantage in this game is like you do have to commit one card from your hand to play a card like that. But if it's able to just bring that card back, like it's almost like you didn't do nothing. Like I don't know, like it's just too valuable for the card advantage. And we're gonna actually Kaku from the black player side, returning a few cards from the grave to the bottom of the deck to be able to KO Paraspero. Now we're gonna get the Paraspero search effect. I didn't quite see what they. Oh, I see a 10 mom actually.
I think if we already have 10 mom in hand, getting a second one so we can do it back to back would be pretty nuts. I do think that would maybe limit us though on the following turn. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because something we could try to do, oh, there's the 10 mom going to hand, but something we could try to do this turn as Katakuri is actually again deplete the hand of our opponent. Because if we have a second copy of Katakuri in hand, the 8 drop, that seems like super awesome to me because we go 8 drop swing into Sakazuki, then we go
Mm-hmm.
leader Katakuri swing into Sakazuki,
Yeah.
hopefully KO it. We just used the leader effect of Rob Lucci, discarding, I think, an event card and a Borsellino to restand and attack again, swinging for
I'm gonna take the
7K.
life. Yep.
He
So
sees the
yeah.
opponent on low and he wants to get more damage. And we have a
Oh my
Charlotte
god, a
Cracker coming
cracker.
down out of life, which is so huge with that double attack. Getting rid of that Paraspero, no counter power in hand to get this powerful potential 7K swing. Okay.
That's
Okay,
only
okay.
10 cards. It's only 3 cards. I'm counting 3 cards in no, it's 2 or something. I don't know, 2 or 3 cards in the Lucci's hand. And Cracker here is actually kind of cracked. But you can go for a game here. Right.
We can actually just we can go for game in the sense that on board we have the ability to clear out life, which I think we kind of just want to go for, right? Like if we just go Charlotte Cracker, commit 1 Dawn to it, swing 7K double attack because we have less life than our opponent. Then we
Mhm.
go 9K swing with Charlotte Katakuri leader. I think it's just lights out, right? We have no blockers. Our hand as Lucci is super low. We have no Dawn active. This just seems like the perfect time. If you
I-
want to like perfectly play around the 2 cards in hand that those can potentially be, that's fine. You can also attack with Katakuri first, put that dead life card in their hand. But it looks like we're swinging at Sakazuki, and that was a 2K to protect it. So
Oh, okay.
we're choosing
Yeah.
the route of board control, which I don't hate. That was the original game plan, but I do think this Charlotte Cracker changed everything, and
Absolutely. I think they could have
really,
gone
like
for
there was a line for
game.
game here for sure.
Like especially since you know that the one of the cards they'd be getting out of life is a no counter card and no Dawn ups, you don't have to worry about any kind of events coming your way.
And it would be so easy just to go 9 with Charlotte Cracker, 9 with Charlotte Katakuri, and
Mhm.
just like feel the hand out. And then after your opponent
Yeah.
like stops or doesn't stop all those attacks, you have your 8-drop Katakuri that sorry, you have your leader Katakuri that you can use now, who can be like 17 or something. Sorry, not 17, like 12, 13 or something with his effect, with how much Dawn you had left active, which I just think is
Absolutely.
unstoppable.
So now you're left in a position where you want a 10-drop mom, I think. I think they were too focused on the 10-drop mom play, and so they don't want to commit any Daunt anywhere. But now you're kind of stuck because if you 10-drop mom, you can't get rid of the Sakazuki.
And
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 then
and and now they have the Kaku as well, which could just harass you because your hand is also super low. And because
Mhm.
you wasted your 8-drop Katakuri swing on the Sakazuki, it's hard to go for game now.
All right, so yeah, they're not going to do that.
So they might
Uh,
so they might go for the original play, which I really liked, which was an 8-drop Katakuri, but they just committed 3 dons, and that's not gonna be happening. They're gonna swing 9. They're gonna put the Sakazuki at the bottom of the life, which is what
yeah,
we
they
want.
already know what their own life is from earlier. They had it. This is a life they bottomed a few turns ago, so they know what it
Mhm.
is. They know what to expect from this life.
Mhm.
So like we'll put the 0 counter card at the bottom, like we kind of originally said, but um, I
Happened a
actually
little
felt like
later.
it might have been pretty good to have. I don't know.
It would have been good for the going for gameplay because you know
Mhm.
one of the cards that they get is not a counter, but because you're not doing the going for gameplay, it's better at the bottom.
Yeah. Now, yeah, absolutely.
Because now
But
next turn, if you survive and go for Big Mom to restabilize the board, it just becomes way more powerful for you because now you're going to trash a potentially good card for them.
and now we're at 7 Dawn. Do we have starter deck Big Mom again?
Yeah, but that like at that point you just trash your own, right? And then you can still go for game next turn because there's like 0 defense on the Katakuri's board.
Yeah. Huh. So what could you do instead? Establish a vanilla, maybe? Establish a blocker if you have it. Looks like 3 signifies blocker to me. Oh no, that's 6. What can you do for 6? Not too much. Oh yeah, I think maybe I think at this point you don't attack with the cracker and just kind of leave it up, or maybe
Mhm.
give it 1 Dawn. You don't want to give your opponent more cards if you can't go for game.
Yeah, it was. I just think it was like a missed opportunity there. Maybe they just didn't think about how much that Charlotte Cracker could create value for them. But there we see a Shira Yoshi coming down with a full 5. Gonna go ahead and do a nice little draw 3, put back 2 cycle of the
They drew
hand.
into another big mom, so I imagine they're gonna just discard these 2 big moms right now. All right, starter deck and yeah, 10-drop went to the wayside
So we
and
do
just
have
trying to
more
beef up the
counter
hand a
power
little bit.
now,
Yeah.
which is good. We're obviously not going to attack with the Charlotte Cracker here, I don't think, because it just would be a little too not great. Here we have
Mhm.
another pudding coming down, maybe digging for a 2K counter. And I
Oh,
think
we got a
we
Parasparrow. That was
we
the
yeah
only.
we whiffed on all that because we cannot add Shirayushi. We
Mhm.
basically just lost the counter in hand now,
No,
um, which is
cracker.
which is a little
No, never
unfortunate.
mind. Yeah, so that they took the gamble and lost. That's unfortunate. So no, actually not seeing any Sanjis this game. That's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Or
it's
Strusens.
yeah, moments like these are like really tough in yellow because there's such a like established game plan because your curve is actually really strong once you get into the late game, all these powerful drops you have, but
Mhm.
they take up your entire turn every time you go for them. Like that's the only thing you're doing. And so sometimes when you have an opportunity to just smell blood in the water and go, oh, I just actually have lethal here, it can be a bit more tricky, it can be a bit more risky, and it actually turns off all those really powerful plays that normally gives your deck its biggest advantage against decks. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure Dylan just got a little distracted and was like, I'm gonna do a mix of a bunch of different lines of play, and then it kind of just ended up being super
Yeah.
awkward for him at the end of the game. But it's not over till it's over. We still have 1 life. We still have 3 cards in hand, and Rob Lucci only really has 2 threatening attacks. And if they overextend into any one of them and get automatically stopped, that could be
Mhm.
just over for them as well. So we got to be. They too have to be very careful here.
They did leave 1 Dawn up for Arrow if they have it too, so they're not completely defenseless. We know 1 card's a Thunderbolt, which is really unfortunate. And
Arrow's
we
3K counter event, right? It's a 1
Yeah.
drop 3K counter
If
event.
you have 2 or less, so actually, it's actually really strong in this matchup. It's if you have 2 life or less, for 1 Dawn, minus 3K from a target for the entire turn. So if they actually pull it off onto the Lucci, they can minus 3K the Lucci for both of its swings because it's a permanent. a debuff for the turn.
Very nice. Here we're taking the life.
Oh, that's not great. And we know what the life is too. So they took it, and it doesn't end up being an arrow or a sovereignty to heal you an extra life, which is really unfortunate.
And now Lucci's just like, okay, 15 a leader, 1 life.
Yep. And then that's game. Yeah, and their hand was another Kaku, a Fukuru, and a Spandam. Another, no, it looks like a Suru with 2K. One of them. So their hand wasn't. I feel like the hand was
Super
very
defensive.
playable, or
Yeah.
they could play around that hand, and the rest of the life was Borsalino and Bluno. So I think they did there is a math number there that gets them game every time.
Oh, I think if you go like if that first swing of 9 with Charlotte Cracker is countered, that's their entire hand gone. And now that play of going swing Sakazuki, dig for more cards becomes like super strong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I will say it is awkward because obviously they didn't have any defensive cards in hand. And honestly, earlier we saw them discard a lot of blockers in this matchup against Rob Lucci. I don't think blockers do nearly as much as you think they are going to do because of his ability just to unsuspend after he KOs cards.
Yeah, so it makes it weird, but I still think like forcing your in the late game stages, having that last minute blocker, forcing your opponent after going through the resource struggle that is One Piece, like or saying like, all right, I now play my blocker at the end, and now you're on like 2 or 3 cards. Do you still have a way to KO my blocker and get some value out of that? And I think oftentimes they won't have it just because of how the game states flowed. So that really could have came up. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. So after a much more complicated game than than the red shenanigans that we were seeing yesterday, Ryan Walsh came out the victor in this first chopper event with Rob Lucci. Congrats to them. I think we're going to go ahead and take a nice little break here as we get ready to pair the second round and show you guys the next matchups. Don't go anywhere.
The giveaway. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Monroeville, Pennsylvania chopper events. So today we got like round 2 going with Zoro versus Star Deck Luffy. You guys keeping your ears out for the scene right now. We have a starter deck Luffy, a black starter deck Luffy in the finals, and that's very exciting. I think starter deck Luffy is an underexplored deck, especially when it came out. It came out with Yamato. And that was the starter deck that everyone was like, oh, Yamato's gonna be so cool, blah blah. And like just like the defensive 6k power, everyone's like, oh, it's the fair Whitebeard, but it is what it is. We're gonna actually have Luffy start, no turn 1 play. Zoro starts and goes into a Dadan. And what are we gonna search off of the Dadan? So Zoro starting second, probably not the most ideal thing, but we're gonna get a Nami off of that. So our searcher searching the searcher forever will be why the 1-drop engine is kind of too powerful. It depends on how you want to value that. Just I will forever value cards in hand in this game, and any card that can continuously essentially establish a body and keep a card in hand. Oh, but we're gonna that's a Gum Gum Pistol. It's from the starter deck. I'm not sure what option that is. That's a cool one though. It's the one where he's punching the Sea King in the first episode. Gets rid of the Dadan pretty quickly though, so that won't be an issue. And we attack for 6 because of Luffy's ability to when a character is KO'd, you slip 1 Dawn under and get a 1 extra power out of your Dawn usage. Kind of like starter deck red, but yeah. So the Gum Gum Pistol is just a KO 2 costers. Yeah. One of your opponent's 2 costs or less. We're going to play Rush Zoro on the Zoro side, not committing the Dawn under the leader. So we're only attacking for 5. And because we had the plan to play Nami this turn, makes sense. It's our 4 Dawn turn. And what do we get off of this Nami? Looks like we got, starter deck Rush Luffy. Depends on how blocker heavy the black Luffy deck can be. That there's, I think, Black being one of the underexplored decks right now tends to be, oh, I want to do the CP9 stuff. Oh, I want to do the Navy stuff. But both Borsalino and Fukuru are really cool cards, so we're gonna play both.
And oh boy, this is a matchup that I'm happy to see. Sorry, I was a little late, guys. I got a little stuck here at the house. I was with my nephews outside. The troubles of streaming from your own house while you're also babysitting every now and then can be difficult.
For sure.
But hey, look at this matchup. Isn't this fun? We have a little like 1-to-1 mirroring of the European finals, I think, going on right here.
Yeah, actually, it's really cool. Both yeah, I mean, like started like I was just saying, Star Trek Luffy is definitely one of the underexplored decks. Not a lot of people have. I don't think it's been given a fair shake to like try to play out in this meta. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I actually am a big fan of any black deck because I just love the package of removal that black has access to. I don't know that much about the new starter deck Luffy, but I do know that he's a more maybe aggressive black character, which is kind of nice to see. And I am definitely in love with the inclusion. I'm definitely in love with the inclusion of the 5-drop Monkey D. Garp here. It's one of my favorite cards in the black color because essentially it acts not only as a good source of removal, but also as a consistent 6K blocker that most people just swing into, and you become like a pseudo Whitebeard deck, depending on how often your opponent attacks into it.
Yeah, we're gonna attack for 6.
Now, are they
I
attacking
want to
the
say it has to
leader?
be at the Garp, but
But if it's at the Garp, that's only a 1K counter instead of a 2K counter, which is already showing dividends.
kind of busted. Yeah. All right. So Luffy was already able to remove a couple cards. We were able to remove a Zoro off the board. We were able to get rid of a Dodon off the board already. But life is pretty even, and if Black keeps trying to I just don't see how Black can keep going 1-for-1 here. And we actually, I guess that attack must have been a leader because brand new is it 1K counter? No, he did.
Yeah, brand new's a 1K counter.
Yeah, so it must have been at the Garp, like you said, and then we're gonna rush Zoro into Garp once again. I would imagine.
Again, I think defending this Garp is just so much value. Like, at the very least, it can just attack the Zoro next turn. Doesn't even need to use its effect to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. And we're
Looks like
gonna
we're going to be
1K out
using
of
a
it
2K
again.
counter.
Or
I
2K.
agree that the one card for the one card is definitely worth. And then that is, what is that?
That's a Balamenko. So he's a Whitebeard pirate. Kind of has the he has a effect says one Dawn when attacking minus 2K from one opponent's character. So kind of like a half Brook. They use it to help combo with Fire Fist and things like that, or just make attacks easier. Like now, next turn they'll be able to put one Dawn under and minus 2K off of the Garp. Just making that easier. Which
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say like these two cost 3,000 power cards are bread and butter for Zoro. Like, he loves this stat line. He can make almost all of them work. We've seen like Harudas or various other cards of this similar design show up in this deck. This is just filling that extra gap that some things might need sometimes.
This is one of those things where I feel like was one of the reasons that contributes to why Red's dominance in the meta is so prevalent is, Black, their way of removing cards is, cost reduction into, a card that can deal with a cost or destroy based on or KO based on that cost reduction. Whereas Red has DP, but the DP reduction actually works in two ways, right? If I can reduce your DP and then maybe KO it with a Marco effect, or I can still just if it's rested, that just makes my attacks easier, and cost reduction doesn't get that secondary value out of that.
But here we're seeing one of the best cards against Red, the 3-drop Fukuru CP9 blocker that cannot be KO'd by effects. Really powerful card, dodges all those powerful things like Fire Fist, DP reduction, power reduction, all you want. It's just going to still stick around and still block one of your attacks if I needed to.
And then the Garp went into the Zoro for 7, and we saw it actually once the Zoro was defeated or KO'd, one Dawn went under the leader. That's what made this attack just that 1K extra.
Being able to go 7 for 9 as well as play a Fukuru for your turn is very nice Dawn management. And it's good to see it in Black because Black very famously was like always stuck at that 10 Dawn number. That's all you have. That's all you get. But having something like the brand new starter deck Luffy can kind of unlock more versatility, let you double dip every now and then, and just give you more value that you otherwise wouldn't have had.
And here we're coming into what I was saying earlier about the DP reduction actually serving the red deck in multiple ways than just the cost reduction. We're actually attacking into the Garb, reducing it by 2k. So now this 5k attack is actually against the 4k body. And we're actually choosing the block, which I don't know if I agree with.
Well, I mean, think of it this way. Like, if Fuguru blocks here and then forces the Zoro to attack Garp again, it's basically acting as a pseudo double blocker. And now we're being forced to attack the leader, which means we just get to draw an extra card. And now they're committing Otama to reduce even more, making it, I think, 3k. And then boom, here comes the Marco to KO
Luffy
it there.
says only if it's
All right, so we got our combo going. Nice.
That Garb ate so many attacks and forced so many cards out of the opponent. But now our board is unfortunately empty. So in terms of advantage, I'd say we're pretty even on both sides. But in terms of overall board presence and tempo, Zoro has definitely won the board. And I kind of mentioned this yesterday, but every single red deck at a certain point, and no matter what they're playing against, will always win board. It's inevitable. At a certain point, you just got to like let it happen. And so now I think the best thing we could see here is maybe like an attack from Luffy into the rested 2-drop just to get it off the board. And then maybe a new removal like Sakazuki. We could see a start with Sakazuki to get rid of the Marco and force him to come back into play rested and then attack into it with Luffy. That could also be really good. It just
Haku could
depends
be
on
huge too. I don't think that. What is Zoro's hand? Do they not have a hand?
I think they have like 4 cards. It's that it's underneath the Otama glare right there, I think.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I found it.
But we do love those Charizard sleeves. Shout out to those.
Those Charizard sleeves are kind of cool.
Not as nice as the Altar Luffy sleeves on the other side, I will say. But
yeah, that's very true. All right, so 4 Kobe.
That's a 4-drop Kobe. That's from the starter deck, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a new one from the starter deck. I actually don't even.
I think he has a similar effect to Garp, right? Where like you can rest him
and then KO something. Oh man, I'm being caught out. I wasn't expecting starter deck Luffy. All right, so that gets rid of the
looks
ball.
like he KO something. So I think it's a similar effect to Garp, where like you can rest it to KO a cheap costed card, and then you gain a Dawn.
Well, I gained the Dawn with the leader, but all right. So we got 1, 2, 3. I'm counting 5 Dawn left. We could. It looks like we're hosting 2, so only 3 cards left. What could we really? Oh, we're gonna put 2 under. Maybe that's a Fukuru. All right, attack for 8. And Zoro. Oh, double 2k out. All right. And then Brooks. It's interesting. I feel like 2k counterwise, I don't see a lot of Zoro's running Brooks. I don't know why I'm kind of surprised by this. And then we end the turn with a Fukuru. Establishing
this version
blocker.
seems more Straw Hat focused rather than Whitebeard Pirates focused. So I just think having more cards that you can search off Nami for 2k counters might be just better.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Also, this Kobe is a 1k counter, a 1k power card that has the effect to rest and KO a 2 or less.
Oh, okay.
Very cool. So yeah, very similar to Garp. But it's only a 1k, which means this Otama is swinging into it now, which is very funny.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because it gets, you'll be able to, that's another target to be able to be destroyed. And you didn't have to sacrifice a card in hand, whereas Garp you do. So
for sure,
power trade-off's kind of worth it.
Yeah, losing 5k power, gaining a counter, but then you also can only KO things that are 2 cost or less. Like, honestly, in black, it's pretty easy to make things 2 cost or less over time. So it could be a pretty strong late game card.
All right, Nami going in for 5, I believe. Yep. And then we're going to attack 6, 7 with the set 3 of Marco. What do we do? I think we have to, if we have the 2k, we counter out. We don't want to go too low.
Something that I always like seeing against a Zoro deck whenever they do shenanigans like this is just always making sure that you manage your life. Like going anything less than 2 in this super late game scenario is always dangerous, always scary. I try to avoid it as much as possible. But if you have a choice between having less than 2 life or less than 4 cards in hand, it's probably better to have less than 2 life because you need a good, healthy amount of cards at pretty much any point in the game against Zoro because of A, the potential number of attacks they have, and B, how big some of their attacks can be out of nowhere.
Yeah, you need to find a way to clean up this board too, and we don't have any attackers. Okay, we are going to 1K out of this, or 2K out of this, and
Ooh,
5
5
for
Luffy
Rush Luffy. Oh,
coming down for 7. It is blockable, but we are.
choosing not to. Oh, that's gonna be rough.
I mean, taking it now is just oof.
Yeah,
That's a
I
little
think that's just
scary.
too much pressure. I mean, is there anything we can do? We can hope for. Fukuru might have to start attacking, get rid of the Nami. The Otama we're not super worried about, but could be relevant. And then if we have a Sakazuki, we could get rid of the Rush Luffy and then attack into Marco. Hopefully they don't have the event to back it up.
Yeah, but they
And
have
that
2 active Dawn as well. They can just protect it with an event card.
true.
At least we're not red hawkable as Fuguru, so like we can choose to commit the attack first if we really wanted to. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, because Fukuru is protected from KO effects on all
Something
turns.
something I kind of want to see maybe is actually do you Sakazuki the Marco, because out of 3 cards, maybe only one of them is an event, and if you force them to discard the event now, they no longer have it to actually use as counter. That
That
could be cool.
that could be it. And then
And then you just attack the Luffy that way.
yeah, I just too many. It's almost too many bodies on board too, though.
Yeah, and
You would
Zoro can
need
make all these bodies like easily 7K on the following turn, even though Otama, it wouldn't be like
even
actually that difficult.
would not be surprised if Otama's the game-winning swing or
I
attack.
mean, it would be legendary. Let's be real. That'd be pretty sick, but
All right, so thinking it over, Luffy must just not have. He got 5 cards in hand. I wonder if they really gets them out of it. I mean, Kaku would be good here. Most have a good amount of Kaku targets. Oh, looks like we're grabbing 10.
I mean, that's a pretty obvious card. I think Kuzan's coming
Yeah,
down.
Kuzan coming down. All right, and we'll KO the Luffy. Okay,
Hmm.
makes sense. And then we'll be able to put 1 Don under and attack Nami. I feel like you have to get rid of Nami.
Right, because you can always just block the Marco. And because you have the blocker, your opponent can't just go all the Dawn on one attack swing and hope that's enough. They do need to spread it out, which means if they go for like, 5, 7, 9, that's probably their most consistent way to actually go for a game on the following turn, which you could stop. A thing we're not considering is the 0 cost option in black that lets you discard and add 3K. That's always a possibility to be in this deck as a
Okay,
way
so
to
yeah, no,
defense.
I think this is a misplay. I think you should be attacking the Nami because I'd be afraid of like Makino shenanigans, maybe Magura,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of guarantee. It's really hard for them to KO or not defend out of a 6K into a 2K. So the Nami was almost guaranteed going to be KO'd off of that attack, whereas here, the Marco still stands, and it's kind of just going to make your life miserable.
Yeah, usually like the less bodies on the opponent's board, the better for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here
And
we just have the normal 7K swing with Marco, super controlled, super consistent, makes sense to me. I think we're getting ready to use that 0 cost option, or just 2 cards. I think it's a 2K counters.
yeah, 2K
Now we're going to
counters.
go 15 with the leader and Diable Jambe. Oh, wow. Look at
Oh
that.
wow, that's
Unblockable,
game.
unblockable 14K swing. That'll
Yeah,
do
I
it too.
didn't even consider that. So attacking the Nami ends up not mattering, but
So,
yeah, Zoro takes it.
so normally, when you have a blocker and play having all the Dawn on one card does not work. But when you have Diable Jambe, when Sanji is cooking, um, it it does help you get there.
That's true. Man, and they're showing their hand. So their hand was 2Ks and then Isho, and then like one other thing. I guess it was the Kuzan, and their hand didn't help them towards the end game. I think they just didn't get the curve out the way they wanted to. I think they needed to see a Sakazuki or maybe Borsalinos could have helped them out. I think
Yeah,
they
Ishi's a
did.
really cool card too, especially against these matchups that have like a lot of just natural, powerful card advantage, like all the red decks happen to do.
That's fair. I don't think Zoro was able to maintain a hand size. I think they were able to dump it pretty well, so Isho never came up. But
And they also weren't like having their life to attack nearly as much.
yeah, they were missing
They
3
had 3
cards.
left
Yeah, that's
over.
true.
So yeah. But either way, congratulations to Eduardo beating uh the
That
new
seems
starter
good.
deck Luffy with
Yeah,
Red
black
Zoro. Love to
starter.
see it. We always love new cards coming out, new decks coming out, whether that's at the end of a format or at the beginning
Mhm.
of the format, like next week's pre-release for OPO4.
Yeah, dude. I can't wait for OPO4. I'm still excited to see what Blue is going to be able to do. I keep saying it, like Blue's getting a lot. With Queen, all the new Animal King pirates under Blue means that Blurple Kaido and Blurple Crocodile have so many new things to work with. Like we said, next week will be pre-release. Check out your apps to search for where an event could be held close to you, and then the following week it's official set release, so we'll be officially in set 4. So any tournaments going on thereafter will be set 4. So we're it's looking like it's going to shake up the meta the way we want it to. I know everyone's getting a little tired of red. Everywhere we go, we see their faces, and but I mean that's card games, and on top of that, like we're coming into a really big shakeup into the format.
And I think that was what we just finished up round 2 of the first Chopper event at Monroeville, Pennsylvania. I think they're going to potentially give us more information later about how many actual rounds is going to be, as well as maybe how many finals you might get to watch today. Be sure to stick around. And we have a giveaway happening at the very end of the stream. All the Chopper events have finished. If you want more information about that, be sure to use the exclamation point giveaway in the chat. And then once we're actually doing the giveaway live, you have a chance to enter and win your own box of OPO3. Should be pretty exciting and a great way to cap off this amazing event weekend for One Piece.
Yeah, make sure you guys are here till the end, an exclamation giveaway and all that. That very valuable. Who doesn't want to get like the last play sets of any kind of rares that could be missing? Maybe actually get the leader, an altar leader. You never know. That's part of the fun of card games. You never know what's in those packs, and the joy of pulling out that chase altar and everything is kind of it's what box opening is all about, right?
Oh yeah, it's about the rush. It's about the shiny cardboard, and that's about it.
Could get Mango Usopp. That'd be wild.
Usopp, I think you mean King,
I
right?
don't know, man. That card says treat it as
Either way, guys, that'll go ahead and do it for round 2 of this Chopper event. We'll go ahead and take a little bit of break and come back to you guys with round 3 very soon. Welcome back, everyone, to round 3 of the Chopper side events that are happening on day 2 of the Monroeville, Pennsylvania One Piece 3v3 event. My name's Steven, aka the True Champion Steven. I'm joined by my boy Sebastian, aka Risu the Squirrel, and we're about to bring you a matchup between Whitebeard, Edward Newgate, everyone's favorite emperor, maybe infamous emperor in set 3, and Charlotte Katakuri, the mochi man that sees the future.
That was cool. Whenever they revealed that in the anime, I was like, "What? You just see the future? That's a power we all have now." Like the power scaling was just like, "Wait, what?" And then they introduced it as like his special thing, and now everyone can do it. And you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, that was just supposed to be a level up. Got it." Looks like we're deciding it by a dice roll and not rock paper scissors. Unfortunate. That was a very exciting part of the match last game.
A little less game theory, a little more randomization. We get it. We get it. All's fair. All's fair. I think Whitebeard won that role. And I think if you're Whitebeard here, you always choose to go second because well, actually, no, I think you always choose to go first against Katakuri specifically because giving them the first attack can be a little gross for you.
Right, because you'll have
And
less cards and they're attacking for 7 at
yeah,
least.
but you kind of want to go second as Whitebeard all the time. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do agree. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm convinced. I see a lot of people go back and forth. Like for me, like personally, everyone's always like, "Oh, wait, like Katakuri wants to go second." I'm like, "But I love going first as Katakuri." And then
I only like going first as Katakuri if I have a good going first curve, like a 1 drop into a 3 drop into a 5 drop or something. Because if I don't, my board becomes just Katakuri swinging for 3 turns in a row, which sometimes is good, specifically against Edward Newgate. That's probably like the preferred way you want to be attacking every
Mhm.
single turn because it's really easy for Katakuri to hit 8K as early as possible. Which is a really great aggressive number. And then late game, you can start dropping your big drops like your 7 drop Charlotte Linlin, your 8 drop Katakuri, your 10 drop Big Mom, and just help you get there towards the end. But here we go. We're starting off. Katakuri is going first. So Whitebeard, even if they did win, I think chose to go second. They're going to be activating their 2 Dawn after Charlotte passes. And I think we're going to be starting off with an Ezo, the patented Whitebeard
Nice.
Searcher.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think the first card was a Speed Jill, but I think the second card was a 9-drop Whitebeard. Nope.
No, yep. Speed Jill, and there's I don't know. There's no way if there's a 9-drop there. There's no
I
way
thought
you don't
there
take
was. I
that.
thought the one of 9-drop Whitebeard was right there, and I'm like, are we choosing Speed Jill over that? Okay,
I
cool.
don't
I'm
think
not
we.
against it, but it's happening.
I don't think we would. There's no
In
way.
my
And
head
we
canon, it's happening. And
oh,
oh, we see a combination Straw Hat plus Whitebeard version. So we're doing
and
a
we
little bit of
actually
a
hit
Straw Beard deck.
at the worst case scenario. We get a chopper off of this, which is kind of good.
Yeah, saving that for late game, especially against yellow. Ooh, yellow has like no
No
answers for
removal.
blockers.
Yeah.
Blockers are their kryptonite in the late game. That's why
Oh,
the blue magic was
absolutely.
so taxing sometimes.
Oh, for sure. No, their only removal is 8-drop Katakuri and then Thunderbolts. And other than that, they have very weird and not really seen played answers to a cheap removal. Gonna be
Mhm.
on 3 Dawn. We have do we have Paraspero in hand? Doesn't look like it. So we're gonna probably no, we do have Paraspero. Yeah, there we go. Oh,
Ooh.
it's the altar. That's why.
We were talking a lot about this yesterday about how I think, and I think we both agree that like probably the best way to go about the Whitebeard matchup if you're any deck is to prioritize aggression rather than prioritizing board setup in those early turns, because it's so important to get them to 0 life as quickly as possible, because the sooner you get them to use their defensive cards, the less powerful they'll become in the entirety of the game. Like if
Right.
they're on their 10 drop curve or their 10 dawn curve and still have 1 life left,
Oh, yeah.
yikes, that's so much
Absolutely. You
pressure you have to
wanna
deal
you
with.
wanna be able to make sure that they can't save their last life with the Whitebeard. It might be a little less relevant nowadays that it is limited and only to 1, but you still wanna be you do not want them to be able to save and sit on that last life with the 9-drop Whitebeard,
But, like,
and
2
behind an
turns of,
AK
like
Battery.
but, like, even if they don't have 9-drop barber, like 2 turns in a row of going, like, ace plus leave 3 down open with events, plus and then ace again, leave 3 down open for events, and my 10 card plus hand, my 6K base, like, nothing can beat me in, like, that many span of turns, right?
Oh, yeah, and we're gonna attack for 7, and we're gonna look at Whitebeard's life, and we're not gonna look at our own life.
Interesting.
Interesting. So,
Maybe
we're gonna
maybe
put it
may
to the
maybe we just
bottom.
have faith that the triggers are in life, we don't even need to look at them. We're like, "I wanna deny as many cards from you as possible. The good ones, you're not getting any of them."
And we counter out for simple 2K. We yes, we did have a plan for the rest of this Dawn, so that's acceptable. Play a Smoothie. I wonder if
Yeah.
we intend to actually use Smoothie's effect. If we counter out of one of these Speed Jill attacks, or a leader or Speed Jill, I think there's reason to say we'll actually use the Smoothie effect.
For sure, and I wanna just point out really quickly that the Paraspero we played last turn, we did not attack with, so I'm even, like, less of a fan now of playing it rather than just going for a nice AK swing with our
Mhm.
leader, going for an AK swing this turn, and then playing the Paraspero. That to me seems like a more aggressive line of play, but one that's really good, and oh my gosh, we were right to believe in our triggers in life because we got that
Oh, man, that was so
Shirayoshi,
good.
probably the best trigger in yellow right now, just a free
Wait, did
+1
he
during
just
your turn and a free sculpt. Very
Okay,
nice.
sorry. No, never mind. We got a Big Mom off of that, and we're taking out a Shirahoshi and a Nakabura arrow from the hand, leaving 10-drop Mom, 2K counter, Brule, and can't quite catch the rest of the hand, but
Sounds like a
it's
very, very
oh,
strong
starter
late
deck
game
Mom's
here.
there too. That's
Ooh,
gonna
we
be
could
good
probably
next
see that
turn.
coming down next turn. But now that Speed Jill is rested, I feel like having like attacking that's gonna be super big priorities.
And we're gonna 2K out of this. Um, the scary part here is I think we'll be on our 7 Dawn turn next turn, and we have Star Deck Mom, but it's so tough to try to like use all your Dawn and then not commit any attacks, right? Like you were saying before, like against Whitebeard, like what you need to be doing is you need to find a way every turn to be aggressive and establish some kind of board. So you need to be always attacking, right? Like you don't want to just let Whitebeard build their hand
Now
endlessly.
something that we're probably not talking about that the Conakry player could be doing here, that Nick is doing here, is playing for the late game. They're like, I don't need to deal early aggression to you. I have Big Mom. I have 7-drop Lin Lin. I'm just
Mhm.
going to prioritize all these powerful cards, get my entire board set up so that way when I do get you to 0, I'll eat through as much defense as possible. And because my late game is so strong, I'll survive anyway and then go for the win on the
Mhm.
following turn. Like that could totally be their game plan is they're playing for the late game. They're slowing everything down. They're going to attack not at all. And they trash the 9-drop Whitebeard using the
No
7-drop
way.
Leyland, and you could see him freaking out over there on the other side of the table. He's like,
That's
"Oh my gosh,
so
there it
good.
goes."
That's so good. Oh, that's so valuable. I can't even think. And not choosing not to attack with Smoothie here for they did have the option to try to take their own life and attack for 7 into a speed Jill or even leader. But
Mhm.
probably
At the
probably what you're saying is just trying to keep it smooth, keep it simple.
I
Play for the
actually
late game.
So I know I kinda, like, complained a little bit earlier about the Paraspero play leading into, like, a more less aggressive Katakuri, but now that this Linlin burned a life from the, Whitebeard player, I'm actually all for it now. I'm in love with this board state right now because on the next turn, we're probably gonna play a 10-drop Big Mom, attack with, like, everything we can,
Yeah.
use Charlotte Smoothie's effect, and then just go, "Now I have 3 blockers on my board that are AAK and 5K respectively, and I
Mhm.
have, like, potentially 4 or 5 life." Depending on how much damage we choose to take or not take this turn, of course. Like, it'll all depend on how aggressive the Whitebeard player is right now on their 8 Dawn turn.
Yeah, and they're pretty where are they sitting? They're sitting they got Vanilla Luffy, they got Vanilla Speed Jill, um, that's a Ezo and a Chopper. I don't think you have time to commit any of these smaller bodies. Do you even attack this turn? Yeah, you have to go for hand somehow and get the life lower. So these 6K bodies will be attacking, and we're gonna tap 5. Looks like we're thinking about 5.
I think we're
That
allocating Dawn, no?
that could be it too. It's hard to tell, like, because Marco could get rid of the Shirahoshi quite simply, and then oh, no, allocating Dawn.
Yeah, we're gonna go 7. I think going, like, 7-7 with your 2 4-drop 6Ks and then going 7 with leader just seems super consistent. There we see the Parasparrow. The, trigger is automatically gonna be activated, discarding a
Oh, a
Brule.
Brule. I wonder if you just take that card to hand. Like, feels like a lot, and we're gonna take this life too. Is it also a trigger? No way. That would
Is
be
that 3
3
triggers in
triggers
a
in a
row?
row. Yeah. Oh,
It is, and
Thunderbolt.
they're all the best ones. They
Oh
are
my
all the best
god.
ones.
No way, and we're still
We li
thinking as to what? We're gonna get rid of the chopper. Yeah, I think that's a good idea because now we can fight for board all next turn
Our
and
3
not
cards were Shirayoshi, Barrow, and Thunderbolt. Literally the 3 best trigger effect
triggers.
yellow.
Alright, we're not that insane. This last
I'm
one wasn't
gassed.
a trigger, and I think we just played another chopper. Yeah, it was another chopper. So and it kinda made our opponents I mean, getting rid of blockers is for free is essentially always busted. And now we can go for I think we have to start going for board. We're only at 1 life.
Yeah,
We're
this
at
does not feel like a Big Mom turn to me. This feels like a let's try to attack the board turn, but there's just so many cards in the opponent's hand that they can totally protect all their 6K bodies, and we only have 1 life. So I'm
no,
I'm
it's
actually a
definitely
little
tough for
concerned here.
sure. Maybe we could establish I don't remember what they had. We have a Brule in hand, we have, 10 drop mom as we know, but dang, what do we do? I mean,
If
yeah,
we had
I agree, we go for board. We have to go for board, there's no way.
if we had like 8-drop Katakuri here and we went like 6K with each Parasparrow into each of the 6Ks, then we go for the 8-drop Katakuri, get rid of one of the 6Ks, and then we go for uh the Lin into the other 6K depending on what was blocked, what wasn't, all that jazz. I could see that being a super, super advantageous turn. But I don't think we have it. So now I think we're just kind of debating. That's what's like super awkward about setting up, but only setting up with 5K bodies
Mhm,
against Whitebeard is they require a lot more investment. And that just, again, throws off the curve of the yellow decks, right? Like the yellow decks
mhm.
want to play one card, have that one card do so much value for you, and then go into the next turn and utilize it. But that makes it very hard for you to actually do the meaningful plays you need to respond to whatever matchup or board state your opponent is presenting you.
Yeah, no, I
Lethal's in
think
play. It's going to be very difficult to play around. I actually do think we have the Katakuri in hand. Maybe we're just trying to think about the best way to utilize it.
maybe. I think the best way to utilize it might be just be to Katakuri your own Shirahoshi, try to attack with we do have 5 characters on board, so it's a little awkward, but we will just go for board as much as you can, and then just Katakuri and then set yourself to 2 life instead of trying to get rid of an attack on their end. But that could be that could not be the play either. I'm not too sure what. what should be done. I still think, like, I know we defended a little bit, but I think the big thing of note too is we didn't get the early pressure, and if we gotten the early chip damage in on like essentially this Paraspero hasn't done anything all game, right? It's just sat on the board. That turn could have very easily just been all 3 Dawn on Katakuri and attack 4/9 and kind of guarantee the extra chip damage, which would have led to this last life potentially being gone, or you being having one more life. Because if I'm Whitebeard and I have one less life, and you start a deck, okay, so Katakuri actually has 9 Dawn. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. I was trying to track that.
Yeah, this is their 5th turn, I think. So yeah, they went first 1, then 3, then
yeah,
5,
so
then
they should be
7,
at
then
9.
9. Yeah.
But
They're just so used to going second.
yeah, this Katakuri didn't or this Paraspero just didn't get the job done. So if you were big Whitebeard and you had one less life and you Big Mom and I started deck Big Mom you more likely to give me the life than trash another life on top of it.
Well, actually, no. I mean, like, had that very first Paraspero not come down and you just attacked one more time for 8K, Whitebeard would be at 0 life right now.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
and
But
then you can just attack with your entire board for 8K every single time, and then
mhm.
force as many cards out of their hand as possible, and potentially go for game. But
Yeah, no.
now you're in a position where they guarantee get a next turn, no matter what you do, and you can't 10 drop Big Mom because you're at 9. And even if you do anything else, you're probably still going to have to face at least 2 lethal swings, which is enough to beat you.
Yeah, for sure. We attacked Big Mom into one of the 6Ks. We're gonna guard point it. We got one more Dawn to play with. It's
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
it's almost like they should have thunderbolted one of these 6K bodies instead of a blocker, just to remove potential attacks.
The management of like your board for the yellow player has just been maybe a bit more awkward this game because they just have so many cards that they haven't gotten use out of.
Mhm.
Like every single one of their 4 cost or lower cards have not done a single thing since they've come into play, other than remove cards from their hand. And they're probably just going
Mhm.
to get rid of one of them or the Shirahoshi to play their Charlotte Katakuri right now.
Yeah. I
Because like
imagine they get rid of Smoothie. Oh, that makes sense. If you're never gonna if Smoothie effect's never gonna come into play, Smoothie's the one to get rid of. Shirahoshi to the top. So now in theory we might have given ourselves an extra turn, but we didn't really do too much damage. We only took 2 cards from Whitebeard.
Yeah, one of them was an event card, which is huge. But yeah, next turn, Whitebeard's going to get a guaranteed 2 more cards from hand. They don't need to play any more characters if they don't want to. They have a blocker already established, which
Yeah.
alone is enough to do really well against this deck. They just literally go swing with the whole board, keep as many cards in hand as possible, as many active Dawn as needed to have the most defense possible for the next turn, and then they can probably just close it out the next turn after.
100%. That's where I see this going.
Like, this is the late game stages for Whitebeard where they're like, we no longer need to care about offense. We need to care about defense. And you see him going, okay, I need to keep 3 Dawn for myself for all these event cards that I have in hand. Let's just use all these to make my board as big as possible and punch and punch and punch again.
So we're leaving 3 Dawn on the side, kind of trying to signify that we have three events in hand, 3 guard points or a red beam or whatever. Trying to telegraph. Maybe could be a bluff. I saw 2, but doing 3 just for fun. And we're gonna do 7 for ace. Oh, we're going for board, I imagine here.
I guess you don't want to hit into a what you know is a Shirahoshi, and if you can't go for game this turn, there's no point to 6K into what is that 5K.
Yep.
I think it's fine just to let the Big Mom go away because you have your Charlotte Katakuri. They could Fire Fist it, right? Because
Yeah.
you have 2 5Ks now. No, it needs to be a 5K and a 3K or less, right, or something like that,
It's a 5K and a 4K.
and a 4K.
Yeah. But you need to pitch an event to go with it. So 2 cards for 2 cards.
So the choice to go for board here as Whitebeard, what do you think about it?
I don't know.
I'm not against it because you're using ace, so like he's still an attacker, but it is out of nowhere.
It does feel like it's out of nowhere, and we do attack life anyway. What I would have said is not going for life here kind of gives Katakuri almost a buffer where they could 10 drop you. And then they would gain they would be Katakuri sitting at 3 life is way more powerful. Again, getting rid of the Brûlée blocker in the late game, I feel like that. I mean, if we're anticipating a Big Mom turn, then we don't Lin here. But
So
I don't know.
I'm not a huge fan of Big Mom here because that means 3 of your potential attackers in play now become useless because everything that's rested is more than 5k.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think you can 10 drop. If you were at 2 life, I would 10 drop just so I could sit at 3 life.
I would love to see another Charlotte Katakuri 8
Mhm.
drop that takes your 8 drop and takes your Shiroshi and puts it back in the life. That'd be awesome.
That'd be huge.
Just looping that card again.
2
Swinging
Ks out.
8k into lead. Oh, we're attacking leader. We're going ham. I think we're attacking leader here.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Or we're
But we have
attacking ace. I don't know. So 7k into leader feels like an awkward number if that's the case. But I think in both cases, you're going to force a card out of the opponent's hand, which is great. So
absolutely.
always good.
And they still have a chopper up, so like
You
I
can't
think this
like
is just
commit.
it's kind of a losing situation. Oh, but we're gonna
Two
double
1ks.
1K out. That's interesting.
10k leader now? Question mark. And we can
This is
swing 10k
definitely
with
I think
Charlotte Katakuri, right? Because Katakuri does not need to actually use the life card check to get the power boost, right?
I think it's part of the cost.
Is it a cost? I don't know if it
Uh,
is.
I'm
I
not a
think it's all
judge.
just one effect.
Yeah, it might just be all one effect, so we'll be attacking for
Let me
7.
just take a little look at it.
All right,
It
so this is
says, yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's literally on X1 when attacking. Look, add up to one of your cards, place it at the top or bottom, and then this leader gets 1,000 power. It's a period, then the then, which
okay.
means it's a
All right,
separate
so you get
effect,
the 1K no matter what. Yeah.
to my understanding.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. We likely have a judge at the stream table if they ask and clarify. But my guess is if they put all 4 Dawn on this Katakuri, it will be 10k.
Which will not be enough because we have double guard point in hand.
I'm getting confirmation that I'm correct.
Nice.
Judge Steven can still be Judge Steven.
Congrats. Passing the test.
I actually would have liked to have seen these Parasparrows only swing for 6k every time. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah.
Because then we can go for 12.
I kind of agree, especially the way it played out where it was 2K get counters out of hand anyway. And this is just gonna be
Rad
game. Oh, they
beam,
have the rad beam, and
that's
then I
10.
know they have guard point.
And that's 11.
And I think that's just it right there. Pass turn, attack with everything, and you don't have any blockers set up.
Like, this is the situation where I think Whitebeard shows off just how dominant it's been and why it's so dominant is you can just have a board where the only thing you're able to attack is 6Ks, which means you now demand naturally way more Dawn from your opponent if they want to do any actual pressure. And against decks, specifically like yellow, that have such specific curved turns where if they have 7 Dawn, they play a 7 drop. If they have 9 Dawn, they play an 8 drop and 1 more Dawn allocated somewhere else. Like, it's very limited what the deck is able to do, and they have to sacrifice a lot of potential advantage in order to create actual aggression, and not a lot of players are used to doing that, and it can just create these situations where Whitebeard just forces them to where they now go, oops, I've now lost advantage, wasted cards, and did not tempo out correctly to the point where I gave myself an opportunity to win, and it's just
Yeah.
unfortunate. But this is the way Whitebeard makes people play, and if you're not used to playing like that, it can definitely be at your detriment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw it. We spent 3 Dawn on a Parasparrow that essentially never attacked until right up into the end.
And then 4 Dawn on a
A
smoothie that
smoothie
never
that
attacked.
never attacked, yes.
Which is again, I think those plays in the mindset of go as long as possible, be as defensive as possible, chain
Mhm.
like 2 10 drops together, really strong. But when your opponent gets that read and goes, okay, now you can't attack any of my stuff though, because all those things have 5k and all my things are 6k. That's where it became awkward and became very tough to deal with.
Yeah.
So both players played the best they possibly could. Congratulations to Kyle for winning that game in round 3 of the Chopper side events. At this point, I want to remind everybody that we're going to be showing you guys the finals of this one, as well as maybe potentially some finals of other chopper events that we get fired throughout the day of Monroeville, Pennsylvania 3v3 event. So be sure to stick around for that. And also be sure to stick around for the giveaway that we're going to be doing once all the chopper events have finished. If you want more information about that, be sure to use !giveaway in the chat to learn more. And once the actual you'll have the opportunity to join it and win your very own OPO3 Pillars of Strength.
Yeah. Finish your play sets. I still need a play set of my Sanji still. I'm really sad about it. Oh, man. But that was a good game. It came. I don't. It's hard for me to say because Whitebeard always kind of makes the games close, so it's hard to tell if a Whitebeard game was close or not. Kind of seemed like you pretty much had control the whole game.
He was just
Katakuri.
like forcing his like he was like dictating how his opponent had to play, and then every time his opponent didn't play that way, it basically became an opportunity for him to create even more advantage, even more pressure in his favor, and then
Yeah.
just all snowballed to the point where he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna ace you 2 turns in a row, and you're gonna lose. And I'm like, yes, that is totally an option, and I'm here for it.
That was good. That was good. All right. Well, we're gonna be next is we're going into round 4 of our chopper event. That's exciting. But we can we'll sign off or we'll take a break. We'll see you guys then. Look forward to it. Stay till the end because we have box openings and stuff to do. And yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to Monroeville, Pennsylvania, where we are having our chopper side events for day 2 of our big 3v3 event that we had yesterday. We're going into round 4. Looks like we're actually going to have a Doflamingo mirror into round 4, so that's kind of exciting. We might be in here for the long haul and maybe some RNG. Like, what do you think, Steven?
Well, we saw a lot of Novi players yesterday playing very aggressive against their red deck compatriots. So we know the deck has the turbo speed button if it needs it. But against the blue matchup, I imagine there's going to be a lot of fighting for board, fighting for advantage, snowballing, Doflamingo things. I do like how we have a non-full art Dofi versus a full art Dofi. I don't know who you're going to win, but it's going to be great. I love this mirror. I love this deck. I love the blue color in general, so I'm super excited to see what's going to happen. I know that this blue deck is the one that rose above the rest, but there's a lot of other fun ones going on in OPO3 that just get better and better once OPO4 comes out and we get those new blue tools like Kaido, like Gum Gum Red Rock. The one I'm looking at the most isn't actually Rebecca. It's actually going to be regular Crocodile from the starter deck and maybe the occasional Nami, because who doesn't love alternate win conditions and awesome effects on your face?
Yeah, the amount of control they're getting is going to be kind of wild. And looks like.
So here's a question for you, Seb. Who do you think's going first, Dofi or Dofi?
I think we let royalty go first, so we let the altar version go first. Of course, look at that. They
Boom.
paid to be here.
We're gonna start off with a Kaya here. Gonna get a nice free cycle. It's not Perona turn 1, but it's pretty close. It lets you kind of set up your trash, lets you dig for more powerful pieces like a Perona for turn 2, like we saw there just being added, or just better cards in general. You can never say no to digging, and there's so many ways in blue to bounce your own characters actually back to your hand that even though you're playing this, 2K counter, you can bounce it back. We know we're playing against blue, specifically blue Dofi, and weirdly 2K counters are less valuable against that deck because they hit so many good numbers when they do swing. So it's like you don't really need them to stop early attacks, because the ones you stop, it's probably not worth it too, no matter how many counters you have. I think that's a turn 1 Perona right there for the opposing Dofi player. Weirdly, when you go second, you don't need it as early, but still nice to see.
Oh, absolutely. I find it interesting that all the blue decks are starting to adopt Kaya, the one drop that allows that just allows you to cycle 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Like every blue deck is running it. Like I feel like early on is often seen as just a Nami card and only really useful there, but it turns out that like just being able to just like we see Shirihoshi in yellow, just being able to just kind of craft your hand even that just little bit of 2 cards more efficiently in the early game, like just gives blue what they need.
Plus, there's so often like a lot of, I don't want to call them useless cards. So there's a lot of cards that can be, clogging your hand. Like if you draw 3 copies of Dracula Mihawk in your hand and you have no way to get rid of them, that can be pretty frustrating against all the red decks of the world. But having something like Kaya that can just naturally cycle for you, that doesn't require nearly as much investment as the 4-drop Dracula Mihawk 2K counter, is so huge.
Absolutely. And we're going to do a 7K attack at our Nicholas, and they will take the hit. and go down to 4 life, and we're gonna attack a clean 5, and we take it on the Peter side.
Notice how we did not use Dofi's effect. We're rather going to use our 4 Dawn for the turn to play a Gecko Moria from hand.
Interesting.
I think the what they're doing here is trying to play around the Dofi being able to swing into our rested guy, because if a Dofi can swing into a rested guy while playing their own rested guy, that is how you, I think,
Generate all the
start this mirror
advantage.
match off poorly.
Mhm.
So both players are definitely well versed here in how these decks work, obviously. So they're going to try their best to play around the advantage engine that is blue. But let's see if Peter here, the 4 Dofi player, is going to change his mind. He is, and he's doing it with the 6-drop Gecko Moria, or sorry, the 6K Gecko Moria, because it's easier to protect. So even though you are going to swing for 7, I can just use 1 card to stop that rather than 2 cards.
Absolutely, and we just passed turn 2. No Kaya's going in, no Peronas. We do have a Love Mellow in hand, so if we need to try to over defend our body here, we have more than enough resources to do it. We got word that this will be our last, our only chopper event today. So once we see the end of this tournament, we'll be pretty close to that. Will be the when we'll do the box opening. So either depending on how the down pair goes at the end of round 5 or at the end of round 6, we'll be doing a box break giveaway for one lucky person in the chat. So exclamation giveaway or exclamation mark giveaway to get the information on that.
So yeah, definitely be sure to stick around for not only the finals of this chopper event, but also for that giveaway, so you guys have a chance to see some awesome gameplay and maybe even get some cards for yourself to do some awesome gameplay. And are we going to put 5 Dawn on this Dofi to swing 10k into this Gecko Moria? We definitely are. We definitely are, and I love it so much.
Oh man, that's a free love beam, and while we play our second Moria, that's
Wow,
great.
that's a lot of snake boys. Look at Gecko Moria. And we're
Our
gonna
two
protect it because we have the Mihawk plus the Love Mellow. Perfect combination, perfect draw.
nice.
Love to see it.
A little bit of over countering though, right? But we're just doing that so we can get the draw off of Love Mellow.
And Dofi does this.
Mhm.
I actually think it was, yeah, I think it was 12 into 10, but Dofi will always protect its characters every chance it gets, because that's
Mhm.
how it basically keeps the pressure from the
Yeah.
advantage it's created. And obviously, Nicholas is trying to play around or slash negate that advantage as much as possible by attacking super heavily into this Gecko Moria, like twice that turn,
Yeah.
demanding, I think, 3 cards out of the opponent.
Yeah, now Dofi doesn't know what the or Peter doesn't know what the at the top of their deck is anymore. So this, I believe this should be blind.
I don't think so, actually. I think they should know, right? Because they drew 1, played 1, drew off Mellow, drew 1. So they do know that
Oh,
this
so they
last
know
card
what this
is,
last one is. Okay.
and if they set it up properly, then if they can remember, is it a 7 Warlords or is it not? I actually think it's a Kaya. I'm gonna make a guess that it's a Kaya. And that's why they're not using the effect, you see? Yeah.
Mhm.
So they did know what it was and they knew not to do the effect.
They were expecting. I imagine they were expecting not to have to Love Mellow. That extra card probably kind of took off
you,
their game
you
plan.
don't normally expect the 10k on, what was that, turn 3 swing from a
Yeah.
leader. That doesn't normally happen in One Piece. But hey, Dofi v Dofi, man, I'm sure we're gonna see some crazy stuff happen.
So now we're thinking about doing it again. We're gonna see a 10 into a 6.
He's literally going, anything you can do, I can do better. But you don't have Dawn active, so ha ha ha
Yeah.
ha.
Now the board is kind of even now with tempo on Nicholas's side. He can they'll probably be able to get this Moria off the board, and we know for sure Nicholas doesn't know what the top of the deck is anymore, even though they do have a Perona in hand to try to take a peek.
Yeah, I think Nicholas's priority is, let's figure out the next few turns, and let's get rid of this Moria while building our own board up. I don't think we need to commit nearly as much as we did last time. I think an AK swing will be more than good enough. You definitely stop this if you're Peter here, because you want to demand the second swing to go into it as well to preserve your life
Mhm.
total.
Absolutely.
Basically, make this Gecko Moria a pseudo blocker now, even though you're probably going to let it die.
Does look like we have 3K worlds in hand.
Oh, do we? That could be huge.
Think so, or it's a love letter. There's definitely an event card in the hand. I can't quite peek it out. But if we do, yeah, I think that the play might just be to kind of bait an extra card like we did, and then just 3K worlds the Moria away. Oh, Oh, we're gonna
Instead of
Dofi
going for the
blocker.
Barona, we're going to go for the blocker Dofi to use the same effect. Setting up blockers to protect your rested guys seems pretty good to me.
Absolutely. If we get it, so here we're gonna have the option. We could just 4K, 3K worlds the Moria now, or we could choose to attack into it, activate Dofi effect, and get another tempo body on board, and just tell our opponent, well, now you need to answer my board instead. Could be a play. I mean, at some point we have to go for life too. And we're going 4 under into Moria, get the Kuma blocker that we knew was up there, and Moria will be gone.
Yeah, I think 8K was more than sufficient, but 9K is just that little extra bit of safety.
Yeah, for sure.
Because blue famously doesn't have that many 2Ks. I think the most I've ever seen a blue player play is 10.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to guess, that's how much each of these guys are playing is like 4 of each of the Alvida and Mihawk, and then like 2 Kaya maybe. Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy. We're gonna empty swing attack into it looked like leader, but we countered out of it. And then Mihawk on curve, and we're gonna bottom deck the 6K Moria.
Yeah, blue famously has a lot of blockers, and also blue famously does not care about blockers. They will take as long as they need to fight through those. This Mihawk is here to stay, and he will be attacking every single turn he is able to. That is how this deck wins games. Is the Mihawk button, I like to call it.
The Mihawk button is really cool. And I mean, like, he's such a cool character too. Like, I love that alt art where he's just sitting on his throne.
Yeah,
it's so dope.
And what's really cool too here is Peter has kind of forced his opponent Nicholas into a very tough situation. Because his board has no good Mihawk targets. So if he wants to, play his own Mihawk to keep up with the board state, he's going to do so like at a detriment, like not actually getting the full value that he could.
Yeah, it looks like all right, we're gonna go 6K attack into leader.
Again, not that many 2Ks. 6 is a much better number against blue than it is against other decks.
And we take that. We're gonna be at 3 life, 3 all, as they say in tennis. It looks like we might just Mihawk this turn too, even though no, never mind. Looks like
you have to Mihawk. I know you're only getting rid of a 1-drop, but Mihawk is just you need to keep up. If your opponent plays a Mihawk, you play a Mihawk. You're going to be too far behind if you don't.
Right, but like at the same time, like, do you now attack with your? And if you're Peter, do you have to attack this Mihawk, or do you keep it standing, trying to like essentially duel? Like, you want to play chicken against your opponent now. The first Mihawk to win or attack could be the first Mihawk to go down, right?
So this is where it gets super intricate. What I would say is if you have access to a second Mihawk or a blocker, it's fine to attack with Mihawk. And here we see the blocker coming down. And now what we're going to probably do is set up and maybe go for a Doflamingo. That's a very event card heavy top 5 cards. So
That's
maybe going for Doflamingo is a very bad idea.
Yeah, it looks like they're not thinking about going activating the Flamingo effect, because otherwise that Mihawk would be the first card.
Yeah, I think he wants to like draw like 3,000 worlds, then go for it next turn, then draw into those love mellows in the late game. That to me seems like his game plan at this moment. So he's probably going to end his turn with like a Gecko Moria, add back a card from the trash, or we could see him drop that Kaya to do some digging. Did he just remember that he did not put Mihawk on top? I guess he did. I guess he did put Mihawk on top.
No.
It was Boa Hancock.
I thought it was an event. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was an event. Okay.
We got full art tricked, guys. We got alternate art blind. But yeah, Boa Hancock's an amazing card to play this at this stage in the game because the hand sizes are low. It's a great blocker, great attacker, and it can build up your hand.
All right, so this attack, I believe, should be going. The correct play would probably be to go into the Kuma, right? Or no?
I think you got to go life at this point, right? When you have Mihawk in play, you have full range to just start attacking your opponent's life and getting them down to 0. Attacking Kuma, you'd rather force the opponent to block with it, and then you have the option to bounce the Pacifista back to hand with any of your other cards.
Fair enough.
Like I said, blue does not mind fighting through as many blockers as it needs to. Something to note here is that we have 1 blocker in play, but a Mihawk is being left unchecked. If we have like a simple way to get rid of this blocker Don Quixote, like a 3,000 worlds, I would love to see.
We do have, actually. I think
we do have it. I would love to see a full send of Mihawk into this Mihawk. Like, that'd be so huge.
Yeah. But Peter does have board advantage, right? We have more bodies on board. You have Mihawk. Just the only difference now is the tempo on play, and but you have to go for your own game too, as Nicholas, right? So you're saying that the best play is definitely to just fight for board, get the Mihawk off the table the best way you can.
Keep your Kuma active so that way you can use it to block and then play Pacifista the following turn. Yeah, that like that to me seems like the best way to
Right.
consistently get back into this game. Something you
I'm
can
pretty
do
sure they
even.
have the Pacifista and the 3K Worlds in hand.
But if you're Peter, you will spend every single card you have in your hand to save this Mihawk. That's why it's got to be like a full send. Like you have to put
Understood.
every Dawn that isn't going on 3,000 worlds onto that Mihawk, and then
Mhm.
you just attack Boa Hancock, right?
Right.
Like what
Absolutely.
I would do is actually go 3,000 worlds, tuck the Don Quixote, then swing 5K with Kuma and Don Quixote into Boa. But we're gonna see here is probably 7K into Boa. Use the effect of to get Gecko Moria. Okay,
And what do
okay.
we pick up? We pick up. It looks like the blocker Don Quixote or Jinbei's an option.
I see
Not really.
Jinbei and I see blocker Don Quixote. I think that's it.
Perona is also an option for Gecko Moria, right? Because
Right,
they're
because
a Thriller Bark.
I
Yeah,
think it's a what's it called?
Thriller Bark.
Thriller Bark. Thank you. So I think it was a good play from Peter to not do anything for that Boa Hancock because if you waste the blocker, you essentially give your opponent 4 more Dawn to use on their Mihawk to attack yours. And if you use cards in your hand, then you play even more worse into 3,000 worlds. Plus Kuma could just attack it, which would be annoying.
That would be very annoying. So, Boa Hancock
Now
off the
3,000
table.
worlds actually is very unappealing because the most you'll be able to attack into Mihawk for is 12, which
Right,
is
which
a very
Flamingo
stoppable number.
King has a hand size big enough to defend that for sure.
So yeah, I think maybe the like I would have loved to have seen, like I said, just four Don 3,000 worlds, get rid of the Don Quixote, then go 5K into Boa Hancock, and then go 15 into
Into
Mihawk.
the new Mihawk, and that would pretty much clean up the board pretty decisively almost.
Is that
I
just
don't
10 into Mihawk? So we're just gonna
that
force
is
a 2K?
it
Or is
is
it 12?
10.
Is it
I think
11?
it's
I
I
think it's
think it's 2
11.
Dawn. I think it was 2 Dawn committed, so yeah, it's 11. We do have the 2K. We have 2 2Ks, which is
Yeah, we have
dope.
two 2Ks, and I think we're gonna be drawing into a Love Mellow, which is then followed up by another Love Mellow, if I
Yep.
remember correctly.
Yes, or there's a Mihawk in there somewhere too, though.
Yeah, so it'll
The
be
2K.
then Mihawk. So we use Don Quixote's
And then the
effect,
rest of the events, yep.
and the rest of the events. Yeah,
We're gonna
there's our
play our
own
own
Boa
ball.
Hancock. So now we have double blocker, one of which can draw us a card potentially, depending on how low our hand size is. Okay.
Doesn't look like their hand is low enough to activate a Boa though, but we could get there.
So yeah, we definitely didn't see nearly as maybe aggressive of a board control strategy as we've seen from Nicholas in prior turns. Like
Mhm.
like to me, if you're willing to commit 5 Dawn turn 3 to your leader to swing 10K to a Gecko Moria, you're willing to commit 6 Dawn to a Dracula Mihawk, right? Like come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's stay consistent. You know what I mean?
Let's keep the game plan the same, man.
But now we're in a very interesting state here where we know Peter has some crazy draws in his future, but he has to keep up so much Dawn to
To
keep
make
those
it
plays
work.
active that he's basically telegraphing to his opponent that he has that kind of stuff. And Nicholas has so much more advantage right now. His hand is gigantic, his board is beautiful,
Mhm.
and it could literally be anyone's game. That's how mirror matches go usually,
There's
though.
gonna be a 7K attack at leader. No effect, obviously.
No effect.
2 cards out of hand. Okay, nice. Soon we'll be in Boa Hancock range. I think Boa Hancock is if you have 4 cards or less.
5 or less,
5 or less.
which I think we have at this
Yeah,
point.
we now have 5 or less cards.
So we're going to block with Kuma, then use Kuma's on KO effect to play Pacifista. Beautiful. We've lost nothing
Yeah.
and gained actually some power.
So now we have to think about, are we committing? No, we can't commit any Dawn because our whole game plan is level of beams.
We're just going to go 9, I think, into Mihawk here. Make the Boa Hancock as not appealing as possible, basically.
Yeah.
Like if you like literally all you're doing is sacrificing your Boa Hancock to draw a card.
Yep.
But if we're doing it anyway, I would say that's better than losing a card to the Mihawk for sure. Gecko Moria, add back a 2K Draco Mihawk. Classic combo. Been seeing it since deck limited battles.
Yeah. I mean, refreshing your 2Ks or recycling your 2Ks is one of the best things you can do in the late game. But now we only have 2 Dawn up, and we know there's a daisy chain of event spells or event cards at the top of the deck ready
Yeah,
to
we
come in, but
essentially
we
have
only gonna
access
be
to
used one.
8K counter,
Yeah.
which is enough to protect Mihawk.
And so
Important
if
to
you're
note.
Nicholas, you're still fighting for board in this position, right? You can if you leave this Mihawk or if you leave the Peter's Mihawk up, they have the tempo to just go for game essentially, right?
Well, here's my thing. Yes, controlling for board I think is really important right now, but you don't have the option to go for Mihawk. If your opponent shows 2 Dawn active, full sending your Mihawk into theirs will not get the job done. That will actually be at your detriment. So you need to control the rest of the board first, eat at some of those cards in hand if possible, and then make your decision.
That makes sense. And we got Moria into Moria. They choose not to defend it, which probably is the correct play. Not worth wasting cards protecting a 4K body. You have to commit on in the first place, or he's a 5K body, but either way.
Yeah, something I'm always like a big fan of in One Piece is when your opponent is tapped out, do as much as humanly possible to make their next turn awful. Which is why I would have loved to have seen the Mihawk like harassment play last turn.
Earlier, yeah.
But I think Nicholas figured that out, and he's going to be operating this turn to the best of his ability. He's going to start off with a Don Quixote blocker, which we love. We love always having a blocker in play to protect your Mihawk from your opponent's Mihawk if you can't get the second one.
Doesn't look like we got any good targets for Doflamingo effect here. I see 2K counter. I see another blocker, Don Quixote. Oh, we're just gonna leave it as we drew it. Interesting.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let fate decide this one. I'm good. There we see another copy of Boa Hancock. I don't know if it's worth it to commit that to the board and sacrifice. I guess you can get rid of your Perona. It's not really doing anything for you, but
we still have.
I think 3,000 Worlds weirdly would be good here on the Gecko Moria.
Okay.
But here we're gonna Mihawk. I like swinging 11, maybe forcing the blocker here.
This will be 11 into 9. And that's the love beam.
Super simple.
And draw the card. And that gets us out. Nice. And that leaves 5 Dawn over for our Doflamingo side, so they can no longer efficiently attack. Like they can attack, they can commit the rest of their turn to Kuma or Pacifista attack into the Moria, but we can just block anything too big. And then we could just go for game next turn. I think Peter can go for game next turn. Personally, at the 2 life left.
I don't think it's worth it to go for game on the following turn, given that there's a blocker established, and you'd have to 3,000 Worlds first to get the attackers needed.
There is
a 7.
There is a 7 at, I imagine, life.
Yeah, Nicholas has been a bit hesitant to use this
3,000 Worlds. Wants to use it at the perfect moment, I imagine.
Yeah, like waiting so long with a card that has 0 counter power and just eats up your Dawn space can be pretty tough. We're going to play Boa Hancock. Play a second blocker down. No Dawn attached to it, though, this time, so no free draw on block with it. But we have the Don Quixote still, too.
Yeah. It's our last resort blocker.
But I will say that Boa Hancock, that is a juicy 3,000 Worlds target, which Peter just drew using his Love Mellow. So, that seems like a pretty good play to me.
I think we just get rid of it now. Yeah, we get rid of the Boa Hancock right immediately. Don't let any drawing happen. Don't let any advantage happen through it, I believe. Our hand is pretty much just a defensive hand. We have another Moria we could be using.
This is what blue does, my man. Like blue creates value through plussing and setting up tempo against your opponent by bouncing their cards back to hand, and then they just keep whatever board they like alive as long as possible.
Oh, we're opting to get rid of the Pacifista.
Okay. Again, I do think a lot of blue players have the mentality of blockers. I don't care about them. I'll attack as many times with Mihawk as I need to.
Moria into Moria, we countered out of it, and then leader into Moria, and now we're deciding on the turn of events, and we counter out of it. Mihawk into
You got to go leader here. right? Like going Mihawk just doesn't seem good enough. Like you want to either force damage or force attacks because you're forcing your opponent lower and lower.
Right, with the double blocker. Yeah, I'm still forgetting about the blockers on board for some reason.
And here we come, the patented combo of play Gecko Moria, add back Draco Mihawk 2K counter. We love to see it. I'm here for it every time it
Super
happens.
easy.
I think that's like the third time this has happened. I'm in love. It's great.
Yeah.
We love advantage.
The cycling's so good, and then it's a 5k attack every turn.
And again, just leaving that 2 Don up and 1 blocker, like the committing for Mihawk just is no longer a possibility, even if you 3000 worlds the opponent's blocker first. Like it just is not going to be enough.
Absolutely.
We
So
quite literally have 16 counter for Mihawk in hand, which is crazy.
Yeah. So what do? We got on Nicholas's side, it looks like I can't
Jinbei, it looks like.
but it looks like we have another blocker, Doflamingo, 3k world still, the same one we've talked about for a few turns now, and 2k counter Mihawk as well. We're gonna put the 1 down under Boa just to. I wonder if we're actually going to attack into
we attack 6k. We draw a card, very valuable for us.
They didn't draw a card yet. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And we just gonna let it go. I think we're beyond okay with that. Sure, they get extra card in hand, but now there's no blocker on board to make us scared.
Like our most important attacker is still in play. We still have our Mihawk. We're chilling.
We know there's a Doflamingo, so they probably more than likely are going to end their turn by playing this blocker. But just getting through the blockers, and then I think next turn we just attack into the Boa at least twice with Leader and Moria to just refuse to let our opponent have snowball blockers. But what did it do? We have still 9 Dawn available. Oh, there we go. The Doflamingo. Check the top 5. We have Kai in hand, so we could potentially draw these 2 cards that we set up and set up
if they're the good ones, of course.
Yeah. And then we can, on top of that, set up a Doflamingo attack with the effect. We see another, or I think this is going to be the 4th, if not the 3rd Don Quixote blocker. Man.
Yeah, the resource management is coming into clutch here now. We're entering the end stages, but it's still far from done. Like Blue's defensiveness against other decks that are kind of similar to it and slower and resource base is just crazy. Like having 2 Dawn up and going, I have 9k worth of counter is so strong.
So we're thinking about committing Dawn to Mihawk. I imagine we're going to attack. All right, so it's once again a 11 into 9.
And once again, we just got the Love Mellow. We're going to draw a card, and we're going to be very happy.
Yeah. We still have 4, 5. No, I think it's 4 Dawn remaining. Attack Gecko Moria into life. And we're going to take this life, actually. Ooh. It's actually a 3k worlds, and we're going to bottom deck the Doflamingo. That's kind of huge for this upcoming turn.
That now puts game on the table, I think, because the second Nicholas taps out is the second we go, oh, 2 life, no blockers. I have Mihawk and Gecko Moria and my leader and another Don Quixote.
Yeah, and you don't have too many cards. All right, so we got another 3. Oh, we're going to Doflamingo. Oh, we're tapping out for this. And Doflamingo, oh my God, that might just be game, like you said.
Well, it's certainly close. They were just going to stop that with 8k. I think it was an 8k swing, no?
Yeah, it was leader effect. So I think
it was 8k, right? Because they put 3, didn't they?
Yeah, so it was 8.
They counted Perona plus
Mihawk. I think both Mihawks, if just not one. No, 3 gets you to 8. Yeah, no, they did. I think they did. Yeah.
They either overcountered or miscounted. I'm not sure.
I think they overcountered.
I think overcountering makes more sense to me, but
yeah.
But it looks like they only used 2 cards to me, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, so Doflamingo
7k with the blocker.
Yep. And then attack the Mihawk into life.
Boom, and then just all on the leader.
Yeah, that 3 worlds was just 12. Too good. Boom. That's insane.
GG's.
I think there's a world there where instead of Doflamingo effect, we could have played Kaya, drawn this blocker Doflamingo, and then had multiple blockers standing. I think attacking with the Boa Hancock might not have been correct.
Well, I
Mm.
think the only reason it wasn't correct was because a 3,000 worlds came out of the trigger, right? Like we have to keep
Mhm.
that in mind. Like if you had one blocker in the active position,
Yeah.
that turn never happens because your opponent starts the turn off with 4 less dawn because they have the 3,000 worlds first before they can attack you.
Yeah.
Slash their scariest thing is Mihawk, which you have life cards for. And if they want to make every single attack 9k, they're not doing anything else for their turn, and they're probably going to tap out. And then next turn, you get to Mihawk their Mihawk and just get the board back in your favor with your Boa Hancock still alive. So, like, attacking with Boa Hancock in that board state's actually really, really good because you're kind of baiting your opponent to attack into it on their turn. So it's basically drawing you a card
Mhm.
and serving as a blocker without needing to do either. But
But because it was
either
3K
way,
worlds in the life,
in
that
the life,
got rid of their
which is
blight.
very unfortunate. But either way, we saw the mirror match shake up pretty much how we thought it was going to. A slugfest, a battle for advantage, and the Mihawk button was pressed many times.
So we're going into that was the end of round 4. We're going into the end of we're going into round 5 with 3 undefeateds, and that's in I bring that up so because if the down pair loses, round 5 will be the last round, and we are intending to give a box of OPO 3 away to one of our people in chat. So please, we'll be giving that away at the end of the tournament. So whether that's the end of round 5 or round 6, yeah, one lucky viewer will be able to get a free box of OPO3. We'll do the box break live on stream, so we'll get to see if they pull anything fancy from that. But again, to emphasize, at the end of the tournament, which could potentially be this next round. So we'll keep you guys updated as we know and as things play out. But
Yeah, the Chopper tournament's been super fun so far. We love seeing all the decks that we couldn't get to see yesterday. That's what side events are beautiful for, people to have fun, win awesome swag, and still play this great game that we all love called One Piece. I think we're going to take a little bit of break here, but it's going to be probably a very quick one because I think the next round's going to get started really soon.
yeah.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with round 5, potentially the final round of this tournament very soon. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for round 5, potentially the last round of today's Chopper tournament at the Monroeville, Pennsylvania 3-on-3 event for One Piece. We have a Whitebeard, aka Edward Newgate, mirror match for y'all. Again, this whole entire weekend is basically a siren song to set 3. So, of course, our 2 undefeated players are Kyle Brennan and Nicholas Ride playing arguably the best deck of the format. You're going to be super excited to see what maybe differences they have between their lists and see who comes out on top. Again, we have another match happening over at table 2 with Peter, the Dofi player from last round. They are the undefeated there. If they win, we will have a round 6. If they lose, we will not. So definitely pay attention to this round as if it's the finals, and a reminder that we're doing a giveaway after whatever the final round is, whether it's right now or the next one, for a box of OPO3. Be sure to use ! giveaway in chat for more information. Whitebeard mirror match. It's gonna be a lot more explosive than the Dofi one, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're gonna go to 0 life real quickly on both sides, and I think it just comes down to who's able to curve out better while also holding up the most defenses towards the end
Exactly.
game.
Yeah. Like Whitebeard patented combo is first 3 turns, the most aggressive, powerful curve you've ever seen from any deck, and then the last 3 turns, the most defense you've seen from any single deck. That is going to be how this shakes out.
Absolutely. All right, I'm still trying to assess out who goes first, either Kyle or Nicholas.
I think Kyle
Won the die roll.
Won the die roll whenever they did it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it should be super cool. My guess, I don't think it necessarily matters actually who goes first or second because Whitebeard has a great curve no matter what. I guess it would matter depending on who takes the first life card, actually, because if you go first, you're now 1 life card behind a lot sooner.
Oh, it looks like we got a Strawbeard at the Straw Hat engine in Kyle's deck at least.
Yep, we saw him playing earlier. I think we saw him play against Katakuri. He has the powerful Straw Hat engine forms of like Vanilla Luffy. He's got, I imagine, 5-drop Luffy, all kinds of really fun things in there to help his overall curves be as consistently aggressive as possible. Now that you have like less really powerful Whitebeard cards, like 9-drop Whitebeard in your deck, you don't need nearly as many searchers devoted to them unless you really want to search them every single game. But here we have Izo starting off, so potentially
So we
just
got the Whitebeard engine.
version.
So
both of these
telling,
decks will
right?
play Izo. Both decks will play Izo, but not both decks will play Nami. That's how you can kind of suss it out. If we see a copy of the Whitebeard option card come down from Nicholas, then we can kind of guess that this is a pure Whitebeard version deck.
I
That's
think
gonna be how it kind of like works out here. Is that Marco? Is that 5-drop Marco or 4-drop Marco? I
that
can't
is
tell.
5-drop
That's
Marco.
5-drop Marco. Yeah, the Phoenix wings are in full bloom.
Oh wait, maybe it is 4-drop. Man, the alt arts always get no. That's definitely
Yeah, Altar
5-drop
Marco I think
Marco.
has a smaller
Yeah,
animated box. Like his
yeah.
box is a little smaller. Ooh,
Mhm.
playing the Machino out as quickly as possible. I like to see that because that means next turn this Ezo is going to
Easel's
be getting
going
in for
in.
damage.
Oh, that's pretty good. So we have that gives us like a little Zoro 1-drop engine too. I wonder if the Don is in this deck too. That'd be crazy.
Watch there be like the most random fire doll. I'm like, in Whitebeard, he needs that much more power. He's already
gotta
yoked.
gotta go for game. Gotta go
You have
for
to go for
the.
game.
Oh man. So 3 Don turn. We're gonna attack for 7.
Attack
Like
for 8. That's
following
the
our
number we
script
love.
that we've talked about multiple times over now, where just to beat Whitebeard, I think you have to try to chip that early life early.
Hmm.
Early life early. But yeah, Whitebeard takes it, and we'll end the turn with an Ezo. So both Nami, both Ezo, or Nami played, Ezo played, both have hits, and we have hits in this hand too. I see Atmos. I see there is a chopper in there. We're gonna take Ace.
We're gonna take the boy himself.
Is that signaling that we have the 4 or 5-drop vanilla to play next turn?
We
Because
either have a Marco to play next turn or we have a 4-drop. Basically, that's what
yeah,
that tells me. Because if we're planning to use Ace this early, we're gonna go
mhm.
full on aggro, and which means we're ready to do that. Because on your 7 Dawn turn, playing Ace is gonna be so good. Actually, you might wait actually until your 9 Dawn turn to do it, and maybe do another turn of playing like 4 or 5 drops if you have more in hand, because that will give you the opportunity to attack with 8 with your Ace, which is a little bit better.
That is a little bit better, demanding 2 cards from Whitebeard. And the Whitebeard mirror always I feel is so funny to me, just because like you essentially negate the advantage that you have for being a 6K body by being a 6K body, and now you're
Hmm.
both slowly chipping away at your own health,
Hmm.
like accelerating the game so much faster than a typical match that you're
Hmm.
used to, that like I don't even know how this next couple turns are gonna be played out. Like both players are playing pretty aggressive, but like with like low end stuff. Right here, we see a Makino being topped into Ezo for, I believe should be 6. Ezo's 2 plus 3. Yeah, this a flat 6. You're gonna pitch the speed Jill to counter out, and then we're gonna go for 7.
Gonna force a 2K, and then what we're gonna play like a Dan or something. Because
Maybe
if we have a 1-drop engine like you mentioned, that sounds pretty good to me.
I think so.
I,
And
d- I doubt we play our blocker here this early. I'd rather save it. Oh, never
no, we
mind.
do play
There's
our
Fasa
blocker.
playing the blocker now.
That's kind of bad. That feels like a misplay. If there's a
Well, I
Marco
wouldn't.
there.
Well, here's my thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, exactly. Like if your read is your opponent has Marco, this is going to be so sketch. But if your read is your opponent doesn't have Marco because they did not add it to hand, and they
Mhm.
want to go for like a board control shenanigan with these Namis and this Ezo, Fasa becomes a little bit more awesome. But he is only a 2K and not a 3K blocker, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
So Ezo on Ezo violence, and
Like
Nicholas
if
will
we
give
do
it
see a
up.
Marco right now, this will be crazy strong.
That'd be. It doesn't look like they have it though. Their hand is actually filled with events. If I'm looking at it, I think it's almost 2 or 3 guard points even in this hand. Plus the ace we know they picked up, so that's probably going to get played next turn if that's their only way to advance board. I think giving up the speed drill might have been uh detrimental. I mean they were tapped out, so they couldn't use any of these options defensively anyway.
So, like in my mind, the most ideal turn for the left Whitebeard player for Kyle is 2 turns in a row of playing 5-drop and or 4-drop, and then ace afterwards. That to me seems like your most powerful curve, given how this game is shaken out. However,
Mhm.
if you got rid of your second and or only copy of Speed Jill or 4-drop 6K Vanilla, that makes this turn very tough for you to figure out what to do, especially if you don't have Marco for the obvious cleanup of Fasa, because you're attacking right now
Mhm.
with your leader. This could be a bait. I see no reason not to just counter this out or use the Fossa if you have no other better counter cards at hand.
I think you just
But
counter this out, or you might be right. If you're still leaving up Marco Don, so the Fossa could just be.
there's no shot Marco wouldn't have been played already, right? Like there's no shot that you don't play Marco the second you have it, and even give your opponent the option to have value out of this blocker, right?
Yeah, that's fair. So you probably have the read that they don't have the mark on the first, but we are going to choose to block just
I
to.
mean, yeah, it just seems better to me because like what are we gonna do? Use this Fossa next turn to attack one of these one drops? Like these things are not gonna threaten your leader ever.
Oh, we do have a play in hand. I didn't quite catch the front card, but it could be, or is it just another Machina? I'm not sure.
It looks like it's our own Fossa to me.
Oh, okay. I don't think we play that then. I think we just pass turn 5 Dawn up. It feels bad, but we have the events to just kind of
I think we have
justify.
is that Crossfire in our hand, or is that I think that was Fiery Doll.
I think
Oh, no, it was Guard Point. It was Guard Point. I was like, what?
No, there's a
What?
lot of events in this hand. I will have to get a better read on it in a second, but I think there's definitely guard points. I think it was actually a fiery doll. You might be right on that.
Nico Robin. Oh, that's right. We're doing the Straw Hat variant. I forgot. I was like, what?
Okay.
Right. That makes sense. And then we have
play
Sanji. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a really decent board because now you have the option to, if you like draw a card like Gordon or draw a card that can like reduce power, like your Ace, your Nico Robin becomes a lot more powerful at clearing board because it can clear those 6K body threats, which is super good.
Absolutely. And we already got rid of the Fossa, so we got rid of the Fossa, so like the Robin is a little less valuable, and I don't see Whitebeard playing any more weenies for the rest of the game. So this could just be just a 6K attacker for the rest of the game. But it's hard to tell. It's like we did have Vanilla Luffy in hand.
I guess they're just prioritizing the power of setting up Nico Robin. Oh, but there's the big daddy Thatch himself. This is what the mono Whitebeard Pirates call their best play on turn 6 or turn 6 on. This is like the one thing that like the Straw Hat Pirate deck doesn't really have as much access to because there's just no room for cards like Thatch when you want to play things like 5-drop Luffy.
Yeah, that's such a good card on curve. Like I when I play the Mihawk and Sanji, every time I played that card, I felt powerful. Like it was just too much value most of the time. But we do have a lot of attacks this turn. We can chip away at our opponent's hand pretty aggressively this turn, I think. Between maybe just it depends on our plays, but I think it's worth committing some Dawn to Sanji and Robin to make them attackers. Even just get one card out of our opponent's hand.
Yeah, but you like what? Commit 4 Dawn to Sanji, right? Like, or sorry, 3 Dawn to Sanji, and then like 2 Dawn to Robin, and not play anything else. Like that seems a little.
This is our ace turn, but it's kind of a bad board to.
Yeah, I wouldn't do ace here. I would save it next turn and go for as much damage as possible. But I guess next turn your opponent's going to go to 0 anyway. So like, you really want to get them to 1 on this turn. So like, I would just commit all the Dawn to your leader and swing and say pass. Like not even a joke.
Oh, okay.
Like that just seems like
all guarantee the life hit.
Like what do you have to do this turn? You have to deal 1 life card to your opponent, and that's it.
That's fair.
So just do that.
And they won't be able to defend it with but they're gonna do just an empty 6.
So the thought here could be get rid of a card first, and then just do it with something like Nico Robin and swing for 8 with her. And then have a quote unquote pseudo blocker that your opponent might attack into next turn instead of attacking your life. But again, I think you have to deal a life card of damage this turn. So taking the risk of not using your most powerful attack just to get that guaranteed, or at least eat up as many cards as possible when your opponent has no active Dawn, seems questionable.
Wrong. It depends. Like they clearly have this 5 Dawn planned for something. I feel like there might be just something in the hand that we haven't peeped. There's been a few cards that have already shocked me that were in the hand. Yeah, we're definitely planning something with this 5 Dawn.
Like all I see in hand is a bunch of event cards, an ace, and maybe a Marco. And Marco just seems so not great here. We're gonna swing. What is that? What is that?
Oh my god, it's 5 plus 3.
8.
So this is the 8 you were saying. Yep.
Yeah, 8's good. I would have liked to have seen 11 instead of 8, right? Like, is 11 more counter? 11 would have been a 6K counter, whereas this is 1K counter plus 3K counter. So yeah, I think just going the full 11 on the leader would have been better because it demands more cards. But as long as the damage goes through, damage goes through.
It's nice.
Hey, we love a +1, right? It just lets you do the effect, right?
Right. So the +1 here is kind of so the only counter I was gonna say is if the Sanji hit connects, then you're actually plus, because the Whitebeard was able to take a card, and then Sanji was able to actually do the damage. So you're actually plus a card in this way of playing. However, hitting into the Whitebeard Pirates kind of negates that either way.
Yeah,
So
you risk
oh
so
yes, of
much more,
course.
right? Like if you don't get the damage through, your board is literally just a Robin, a Sanji, and a Whitebeard against
Mhm.
the Thatch and a Whitebeard, where your opponent has still one life left that you have to fight through, and on the next turn you're gonna have 0.
Yeah, so going for the guarantee play probably is better. I'm inclined to
But
agree with
hey,
you there.
it worked out great. Sanji got in there. He was cooking. Let him
Yeah.
cook. He did great.
Yeah, no, we got it definitely worked out, and like, so it would have cost the Whitebeard player 2 cards to get not let this hit go through, and now we're on 8th Dawn, and we won't be able to 9 gate. Not that we've searched it. We have probably triggered a few searches though, so Whitebeard could have been found and just put to the bottom, or it's just in hand, but we can't even use it this turn. So great.
Yeah, we know we can't use it, and we know we're gonna go to 0. I imagine if we did see it, it's getting tucked to the bottom. Funny enough.
All right, so our Kyle's got 2 done up. We know he's got the events to back it up. Next turn, he's gonna follow. I mean, the ace play now seems. I feel like almost the ace play last turn might have been good too. It's hard to tell, because now you next turn, like, you have ace, so you have the extra attack, but now that next turn is gonna be weaker because you can't just full send on top of white. Maybe that is the play. Maybe the play is to just put all 9 Dawn under your Whitebeard and attack.
I mean, it depends on how many Dawn cards your opponent leaves up. If they leave up north of 2, that play is not going to be great for you. It's better to go for ace, build your board, maybe attack the Thatch with some of your weaker guys, and then go from there. But it always depends on what your opponent defensively shows you.
Fair enough.
Here we have another Whitebeard Pirates. Event card coming down, grabbing another Thatch. Oh my gosh, playing a second Thatch?
I think if second Thatch comes down, we try to go for game next turn.
Like 2 AK swings and then second Thatch? That seems like pretty good to me. Or
It's very good.
6K into 9K swing, maybe 6K into 9K swing might be better because you play around guard point better that way.
I think so. Yep.
But if you can not attack with the Thatch, that too would be pretty pog. Like that'd be pretty great.
And I think you're not too worried about trying to go for game this turn. Next turn probably is where
I
you're
think you're gonna try to go for game next turn because if you don't, your opponent will have 2 turns of you
of you
on
at 0
0
life.
life.
Yeah.
Which is a little sketch. Obviously, their board is not threatening by itself right now, and they have to commit something else into play to actually do big damage to you. So maybe you have more turns than you might think. But if they commit something like a Thatch or a 5-drop Luffy or a 7-drop
So you believe
Ace
it's
next turn,
correct to attack this turn? You should attack with both Thatch and Whitebeard.
I think you can not attack with Thatch. I actually like not attacking with Thatch, but I
I
don't
like that
like
too.
not dealing damage. Like you need to
So
deal
you
damage.
want to just shove a good amount again under Whitebeard, attack into Kyle, send him to 1 life, and then on the playback, assuming they don't play a 9 gate, you'll have a turn with Kyle at 0 life, and you can try to do your best to damage their hand or even go for game.
I kind of actually want to see, weirdly, if you're not going to go for damage, I want to see you attack the Sanji with your leader.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's where my mind goes. Is like, the Sanji's a free attack. I don't see a Whitebeard even thinking about letting this Sanji or defending this Sanji. But we're gonna attack with Thatch.
I also
Uh,
do like attacking with Thatch first, just to eat an event card out of hand at the very least. Maybe I would have maybe made it 9, but I'm not
I think
playing
we
the game.
should have at least made it 9. But we do
Wow,
our
we have
plan.
triple guard point in hand.
Yeah,
We do
no.
just have 3 guard points in our hand.
Kyle
Man,
is more than fine. Yeah, I think the play is definitely guard point out of this, so you're not sitting at zero health if you don't take game next turn. And yeah, we'll see the guard point. Nicholas's hand, like, Nicholas must be playing. I imagine he has the second Thatch, so the theory might just be play second Thatch, leave 1 Dawn up to
have an event card available to you, yeah.
Mhm.
So I would swing Sanji here now because at the very least you're going to get rid of a card or more cards out of your opponent's hand because now the game plan cannot be rush your opponent down, get as much damage as possible, win the game. It's got to be get their hand and their board as low as possible to the point where they cannot aggress you enough where you have time to just beat them, go for game when they have like 4 or less cards in hand, right? Like if the Whitebeard player has 4 or less cards in hand, I don't care how much down they have. You can probably go for game if they have 0 life.
Yeah, probably. As long as you have the either the body. I think you need at least 2 bodies to make that work. 4 cards is a lot, especially if they def the Donna. You never know.
Like four cards is a lot, but it's only a lot if there's only 1 attack.
Yeah.
So yeah,
looks like
this is a tough turn. It's a tough turn. It's a tough decision. I don't think there's not like a quote unquote best decision, but I would like to see maybe a more
we're gonna
controlled
leave
game plan after that. But I think we're gonna go 10 at leader.
Yeah, 10 at
Because
lead.
again, no, 11.
11. Yeah, you're right. It's 5 down. We're gonna leave
2 up. So this tells me I'm just gonna save events and protect Thatch. I'm just gonna protect Thatch instead of play a second one.
Mm-hmm. But I think we counter out of this. I know we have the guard point, but we would need guard point plus. We would need double guard point.
And we can't do double. But if you can stop this, you should. But if you can't, just take your medicine. You have to take a life, right?
Yeah, I believe so too. So we take the life. Didn't quite catch what it was. It'd be insane. Oh, if you do so, Kyle. I think Kyle is in a position to be able to go for game. Only 2 down up. And you have a Sanji that could attack this turn with the effect to get some power out. I still think there is a 5. Oh, we did draw a 9 gate. So
exactly. I think we just top decked our 1 of 9 gate on our 9 drop turn while we have 1 life card left specifically. If we
go for it, I think we just play it then, right?
If it is the card, I could be wrong. I can't see it perfectly, but I'm pretty sure we have it in hand. If I had to guess,
I think we drew into it, but we got different plans. It looks like.
I mean, I will say 9 gate on 9 dawn with a hand of 5 event cards does seem very unappealing, but it does seem also crazy strong.
Yeah. So we're stacking the 4 dawn.
I think we're going for the plan of I need to kill Thatch, but killing Thatch without playing Ace for turn seems a little tough to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm aggressive personally. I just put 10 under Whitebeard and attack. And
we drew the blocker Marco.
Oh, okay.
That's huge.
So that changes a lot.
Oh, and now we're gonna use Sanji because we know we're gonna lose our life card anyway. May as well make him a gigantic attacker.
Yeah. So this should be 2K. Yep. It's gonna be a 7K attack. And do we try to make it go for?
I just think we do 2 8s at the leader now.
I think so. I think just.
We just got confirmation that Peter over at Table 2 won. The Dofi player did win, so we will be having a round 6. And round 6 will be Whitebeard versus Dofi. A matchup for the ages.
So we're at 6 8. This is gonna be an 8 attack Sanji. I think we play safe though and not commit more down. We do have a lot of events in hand. I think we have at least 2 more guard points. I think we might even have Rad Beam. So leave 3 down up. Sanji, if I wonder what he drew off the. Oh, is that a Fiery Doll? I keep thinking I see Fiery Doll.
It could be Crossfire, but I'm pretty sure it's Fiery Doll. That looks like Fiery Doll to me.
Yeah.
Or it's Crossfire.
Oh, it is Crossfire. It is Crossfire. Absolutely, it's Crossfire.
All those Ace cards look exactly the same.
So are we gonna? We're gonna. Oh, so yeah, we're going crossfiring the Thatch, and does that make it? It does not make it weak enough to.
Robin can swing at it.
Robin could swing at it, but you can't KO by effect. So that's pretty nice. So. Do we clear? Does Sanji go face or does? All right, Whitebeard. We're gonna swing Whitebeard first into the Thatch, demanding a 2K and a 1K, 2 cards in hand.
So I think you, gosh, it's pretty tough here. I think you have to protect Thatch, but you can't protect Thatch from Sanji. So you're gonna lose way too many cards. So you may as well just take it and then stop Sanji.
Yeah, and then like you said, the Robin is also an attack either way. Yeah, so we give up the Thatch, unfortunately.
Yeah, Crossfire was super good there.
Now Sanji goes in for, I think it was 8 after everything.
Which will demand an event card at the very least and just make that hand smaller. You gotta start chipping away. Is he debating like not attacking with Sanji? That feels a little wasteful.
Yeah, I mean with the 2 down up, debating attacking with Robin and just leaving your being happy with just your blocker? No, that's too risky.
Well, like risky against what? Like specifically Fire Fist, in which case your
Fire
opponent
Fist or Jet
has.
Pistol, right? And then
But like
your hand is only events.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with if you're putting your eggs in the basket of my blocker will get me there, then that's fine to do it this way because
Okay.
you demand at least one more card plus a guard point
Mm,
or Radical Beam,
nice. So they
best
had the one
card in
of,
the game.
and we passed turn. So we chose to try to play around another guard point, but ate the Radical Beam instead, which I think we take those.
So let's say we have Fire Fist, right? We Fire
Mhm.
Fist, get rid of the Marco.
Yeah.
We have one guard point,
Yeah.
which means we go up to 9. Let's say we have 2 2Ks, we go up to 13. We have 7 Dawn after Fire Fist, right? So we can go for 13.
Yeah, we can go for 13.
But I know, but Fire Fist is one of those cards that Whitebeards just don't play because they don't have.
What I'm afraid of is, do we just lose to Rush Luffy potentially?
Well, this is mono Whitebeard Pirates, so it's very unlikely that there's a
That they
5-drop
have it.
Luffy. But if they have it, they have it. Which I
That's
don't even
fair.
know if that would be enough, right? It would be 5, it'd be 11. Guard point
Mhm.
plus 2 2K stops that, and then they can just block our leader. So it might be too much of an
I'm
overkill.
not. I'm almost not convinced that they might have the 2/2Ks because they've had a lot of events in this game. We know one
Yeah,
card
but
is an
like,
ace.
we have more information than Nicholas does. Like Nicholas just
Oh,
sees
that's
8
fair.
card
Yeah.
hand, one Dawn up. Like this
Mhm.
Mad Lad over here can definitely stop 11K. Is like I think his thing.
Oh, here comes the
Vista,
Machina. Vista? We're gonna Vista the
the Marco. Oh, we're gonna Marco
4.
the Marco.
Marco the Marco.
Marco the Marco. Marco and Marco violence. We are not here for it.
No, I don't approve. Do we revive it? I think we have the Whitebeard Pirates card. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, heck, we don't need Ace
I don't think we're
anymore.
playing ace next turn. Yeah.
I'd rather just have the best blocker in the game.
So that leaves only 4 Dawn, so we can go to 10 and attack. That's a little. I don't think that's going to be enough. I think they definitely have. We have guard point, and we have. I wonder if we have the red beam. It's still hard to tell.
I would have probably gone something like Newgate swing into Sanji, have them block with Marco, revive Marco, and then play my own Marco to get rid of Sanji. So that way I don't waste my Otama. That
I
might have
like
been a
that.
better line if you're going for like board controlling route and not and like eating cards out of your opponent's hand rather than trying to go for game.
I think we lose if there's a fiery doll in hand, we might just.
Right. We did maybe see a fiery doll. That's right. But no, we're just
Oh
gonna
no,
swing
no.
7.
Okay, no.
I think we're
We're just
swinging
gonna swing
7
7.
at Sanji.
2K.
7 at
No,
leader.
that wouldn't have been off. Yep.
Maybe like demanding a guard point or something.
Whitebeard
Whitebeard
Pirates.
Pirates.
Searching for. I guess
Yeah,
we're hoping for a Fossa.
Yeah, we had a lot of events in our hand too, it looks like. But Fossa wouldn't be good. We have Nico Robin in play.
Oh, true. Oh, Jozu, 2K. I
We
don't
love
think that's gonna
Jozu
be
2K.
enough. No blocker. What's stopping us from going 16? 2 Dawn up.
We saw the Radical Beam already get played, so the best we could have is double guard point. We have a 2K guaranteed then, so that's what? 12, 14. We would need another 2K and a 1K, which is a lot. And then, but that would stop all attacks because all the other attacks could not be big enough if you use all 10 of your Dawn. So keep that in mind. Like if we're brazy enough to play Otama, we're probably brazy enough to hold that much defense.
Yeah, depends on how many cards are in hand. What do you do? Okay, we're not gonna do the 16. We're not swinging 16. Oh, he's got a grip. Nicholas has a grip.
You have to just go 888 or 999. That's about it. But Sanji now is useless.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I will say Sanji and Nico Robin kind of just feel like useless cards at this point in the game.
Yeah.
And you can't attack with your Marco. So like the only real thing you have is to attack for 16, which I think could be stopped, but I don't think it'll be stopped twice in a row. So if you're confident that you can survive next turn, then like leave up as much done as you need to for all your event cards, and then swing with your leader.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's to the wire though. We have a Rush Luffy on Kyle's side, so
yeah, but like
it could be worth just establishing it and not attacking.
Like just like paying the 5 Dawn, playing it.
Looks like we're going Night Gate. Oh no, we're going
15.
We're gonna force our opponent to have it. Interesting.
Show us the grip of defense.
1.
One
I
guard
guess
point.
that gets us to 9.
Two guard points.
That gets us to 12.
We need 4 more. We have the Jozu.
And that gets us to 14.
And then we have another Jozu. That's 16.
Yep. So that demolishes the hand, and we pass on that. We're gonna sit on our laurels and hope that blocker plus guard point is enough. If they live this turn, this should be this should be Kyle's game if he lives this turn. But
so this could be a ace turn. I could see ace being good here. Because then you can attack for 8 3 times. I think
8 3 times would. I think 8 3 times. Given what we know, 8 3 times might just be enough.
But I mean, both players are in the situation of, hey, we're just swinging now. We're just going for it. But I have a blocker and you do not.
Mm-hmm.
And that might just be good enough.
Oh, we don't have the ace anymore. Actually, they pitched it for
Nicholas has one potentially.
Oh, okay.
Not Kyle. Kyle got rid of his.
We got through 1 guard point. Got through
double guard point and 1 rad beam.
Yeah, so there's still 2 more. Assuming they drew it. But man, this is a nail biter, man. I thought this was gonna go fast, but this board is. We've been here for a minute now.
Both players are not giving up. They are both playing the best defensive game they can.
There is. I think Nicholas still even has 6 cards in hand after the huge swing from Kyle. But I think next turn Kyle can win with just 16 unless a blocker is established. It's just too much. Asking to stop 16 or 16 15 twice.
That's tough even for that's tough even for Whitebeard to do, but it is not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
We keep forgetting about Red Hawk potential too, which I don't think Nicholas's deck is playing. Normally Red Hawk is in the straw beard version because you can search for it, but Gum Red Hawk is still just a great card that every red deck
absolutely
can
and
play.
clears a body, which doesn't really come up in this matchup. But
heck, it'd get rid of Robin, which would be annoying for all your blockers.
True. All right. So we have Nicholas is staring down a single blocker, and I assume no way to clear it, because otherwise I think you would just do it.
Well, I don't know. Clearing it might it might be a trap to clear it. It might be is it better just to go 12-12, or is it better to go waste 3 Dawn to clear it and then go 8? It would be 13? 12-12 just might be better. But here we're going 9 with the leader. If they block, they're going to guaranteed lose a card. And if they don't, they're going to guaranteed lose 2 cards, at least.
So that's guard point. And then another card. So we'll guard point, give up. We have a Sanji 2K. Okay, we have an Ezo.
And so now if we say, what gets rid of this Marco? It would be Jet Pistol. We'll use 4, and we'll have 3, so we'll swing 9.
And with no Dawn up, that could be
enough, but I don't think we have Pistol in our deck, so I don't think that's a possibility. Right. I don't think there's any one card right now that just gets rid of Marco. So
yeah, you're right. Could be a combo card or something.
Could be a 5-drop Luffy. We could see 5-drop Luffy come down, swing for 8. That could be a thing.
Maybe there was a world where when we KO'd the Marco last turn, we attack into it with our leader as well, just to get more cards out of our opponent's hand.
That's what I was saying. Maybe go swing into Sanji, but Sanji was useless, so there was no point to protect it. So they wouldn't have blocked it.
So we're going 8 into the leader.
It just seems better to block this, right? Because you only lose 1 card rather than 2.
Well, he's holding up. No, we know he has the 2K, so he's holding up enough Dawn for Rush Luffy. But I think you're right. I think we just block it.
Yeah, block it. Get rid of a card that maybe doesn't have a counter in your hand if you have one, or has a 1K counter. So that way you're only losing a 1K counter instead of 3K counter. That's why Marco is so good. Is he lets you just not lose as many cards as you would have lost otherwise.
Absolutely. Oh man.
Only 4 minutes left in this round, by the way, y'all. We need to probably pay attention to time at this point because these turns can go on pretty long.
And these two actually have to have 1 more round to go. And we're going to just it looks like we might not. We're blocked, and it looks like we're not thinking about reviving it.
That means our whole hand is probably really good counter power. That's my guess. Like our hand is stacked with defense.
Absolutely. And we're gonna
Play a
tap
Fossa
2.
into Nico Robin?
I mean, it forces your opponent to play a little weird, right? Like now we have to give Robin 2 Dawn.
Yeah, but like that's still amazing because you get rid of a card and another
And the
card.
blocker. Yeah. No, I mean, it's not the best play, but it could be just his only play,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. But like, oof, it feels so bad
Oh,
staring down that Nico Robin that's done literally nothing all game, and now it's literally potentially the game-winning card.
yeah. Attack for 6 into lead. We'll
There goes the Thatch we knew about, and then boom, 14 to your face.
14 to your
3
face.
Dawn active.
I don't
Is it
think
enough?
3. Should be
Should be
14.
14.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good number. Show us 2 more guard points.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
puts us to 9. Puts us
11,
to
12,
It's not
13.
enough.
Only 13.
Just short. Dang.
Yeah, we couldn't stop 16,
Oh, he
so
did have
obviously
another crossfire. So they had another crossfire. Okay, so they were staring that down the whole game.
very close match. Again, these mirror matches, both folks have been down to the wire. 2 Whitebeards in a row. Sorry, 2 Whitebeards after 2 Dofis. Crazy. By the way, guys, I think this was the last game of round 5 to finish. So I think we're going to immediately hop into the final round of this Chopper Cup.
Yeah.
Dofi versus Whitebeard. This is the Dofi match's bread and butter. The deck was kind of designed and built in OPO3 to beat this deck. So it's definitely going to be
Absolutely.
fun to watch.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. Remember, at the end of this round, we'll be doing a giveaway for a box of OPO3. We'll be doing a live box break. So we'll be we'll be giving it away to somebody and then opening it for them because we want to share the love to everybody.
Yep, all those juicy cards. You're not only going to get to know what they are, we're going to celebrate as a chat, as a group of how beautiful those cards are, and one lucky winner will win them. If you want more information, be sure to type in the chat exclamation point giveaway. Again, it'll open up at the end of this round, so we should be sure to stick around, A, to celebrate the winner, and B, to potentially enter for a chance to win your own OPO3 box. I don't think we're going to take a break because it's going to probably immediately get paired up and start. We already know the matchup. Dofi versus Whitebeard. It's going to be super cool.
Man, that was a slugfest. They went back and forth.
It was
Defended
an
a
even bigger
15
slugfest than the Dofi mirror. Like the Dofi
right
mirror finished with like 11 minutes left.
minutes.
That one
Yeah.
finished with like 4.
Yeah, they were, man, we saw so many of they were able to, they were able to draw into so many of their non-searchable cards. Double guard point, triple guard point, I think at the end of the day was actually drawn with a radical beam. Wow, they were able to see a lot. And then Kyle's side, they saw 9 gate, but I don't think they ever, maybe it was an illusion, but I feel like they
It's
just
probably just
never came
illusion.
up.
Again,
Yeah.
so many Whitebeard cards look so similar to each other when they're like in those alternate arts, like really cool glazed up states. They look
Yeah.
gorgeous, but it's a little hard to tell sometimes from afar.
Yeah, for sure. So it's gonna be exciting. I think like you said, Doflamingo is gonna have this is what Doflamingo is built for. Anyone playing Doflamingo plays it with the understanding that they probably have the favorable matchup against Whitebeard themselves. Yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting to see
And as
if
we
they
know,
can clutch it
Peter
out.
is like an expert with Dofi. He was playing an absolute clinic the 2 rounds previous, cycling those love mellows, recycling, I think, Draku Mihawk 3 times, and pressing
Multiple
the
times.
9-drop Mihawk button as much as possible to just get there at the end.
Yeah, but was able to put on the aggressiveness or enough aggression, and then got a little lucky at the last turn. But it looks like we're going into the game now. Whitebeard versus Don Quixote Don Flamingo.
This is the finals of your 1v1 Chopper event at the Monroeville, Pennsylvania 3v3 for the One Piece card game. 2 beautiful full art face leaders. I don't know if we know who's going first. They might decide in a second once they're done shuffling up. Don Quixote versus Edward Newgate. Kind of like I'd say the 2 biggest stars at the end of the OPO3 format. You know, the meta Kingpin versus the deck that is kind of the off-meta, anti-meta pick to combat the Kingpin. Going to be probably a perfect little siren song as we head into OPO4 next week. Yeah, really excited to see how this round shapes up. By the way, Kyle again is playing the Strawbeard version, which I don't personally have a stake in which one is better, but I do think having the consistency of being able to search for things like Guard Point, like Red Hawk, like Radical Beam, like 5-drop Luffy is worth including that little bitty engine into your deck. And we can do fun stuff like play Nico Robin to late game beat blockers. You can win
Oh,
games that maybe would have been difficult otherwise.
that Robin is insanely valuable. Every time I see it play, like that, as you said last game, like that Robin literally never attacked until
It won the game.
it won the game. Basically, getting rid of that blocker was insane,
Right,
or
because
was
Because if
calculated,
you're
right?
because if you're not able to have an attack on the leader for 13 that they have to counter out of, you don't win that game that turn. Your
Oh
opponent
yeah,
gets one more turn,
absolutely.
and you're out of blockers, and they can just swing 16, and you're out of event cards. So yeah,
I wonder if it was even worth it to. Is there because they committed 2 Dawn to make Robin a valid attacker
mm-hmm.
to for Whitebeard to counter out. I almost envision a world where you don't put that extra Dawn, just attack just to get rid of the 1 Dawn essentially to get rid of the blocker, and then you attack for 15. The 14 ended up being enough, but I wonder if
it
there's
was
a
it was 13 actually. It was 13-13. Like I think it was even. Oh no, you're right. It was 14. I don't think 15 changes unless there's double guard point. No, unless there's only a single guard point and then like 4 2Ks. But if it's like double guard point, the math does not change because that makes you 12, right? And 12 to
right.
14 is still fine.
That's
And
fine.
also think of it this way, like Robin eating a card might be that same counter you're gaining from
Right, because it
not
could
having.
just if their hand is all 2Ks, then you're over countering, and then it's a card either way, which is efficient. Yeah, that makes sense.
All righty. It looks like they're shuffling up. They're good to go. Kyle is happy with their hand. Peter is like, I was not happy with mine. I need a new one. Please help me get one.
Please.
I would love it if you helped me get the best hand I've ever drawn in my entire career. Thank you so much
Give him the curve. Oh, we're going for the
for the little mini
extra
shuffle.
shuffle.
We
Yeah.
love a mini shuffle.
Yeah. Slicing the cheese. That's
Mhm.
anytime when someone plays yellow sleeves, like that's what I think of. You're just like playing with cheese, like just American cheese, and you're about to grill up a sandwich.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm now hungry. Thank you for that. Everyone at
No,
home is also hungry.
anytime, dude. It's lunch. It's past lunchtime for me, but it's almost lunchtime for you.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. for me, if you guys can believe it. I've been up since 6 a.m. talking about One Piece nonstop 2 days in a row, and I love every second of it.
No, this has been a very very fun weekend. I love doing this every time I get to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Alrighty, it looks like we're about ready to go. To
Start and
go,
Doflamingo starts.
which is huge. That's like so crazy. Show us the turn one Perona.
Nope.
Nope. But we still are going to attack. We're still going to go for the blind Dofi because we have to against Whitebeard. We need to be the aggro player in this matchup for sure.
Right. And you think going for Dofi effect would be better than swinging attacking for 8?
Good question. I'm going to go with, is it better than attacking for 8? I don't think there's a difference in the first couple of turns of attacking for 8 or attacking for 7.
Mm.
But I don't know. I'm going to go with,
Double
I
nine.
would prefer to, if I have the chance to get a free card, that is better than a chance to deal damage. But if you really value that damage being dealt, which I think we do actually, it is kind of important.
Well, now that Whitebeard's tapped out, we know that like a guard point isn't an option, so attacking for 7 might just be enough.
And
Like
I believe those
depending.
Namis added guard point and 5-drop Luffy respectively.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I think we just drew Perona,
Oh, nice.
which means
So,
next turn we can get a guaranteed. Yeah,
oh,
we're
we're
just going
gonna
to play.
Doflamingo. Okay. Guarantee our next few aggression plays in there. Would we have hit? It looks like we might have been able to hit. We're gonna put Draco Meacock 2K at the top, Bo Hancock second, and the rest is like love beams and
All the good goods.
all the good goods. It looks like yeah. So it looks like we're gonna try to get it free Bo Hancock next turn. Into we're gonna draw the Mihawk, the 2K counter. Right, so Whitebeard's turn, 4 Dawn. Not sure if we've curved out. We have the curve in our hand yet, or an attack for 6K. I'm gonna take
If
it.
if any deck has the access to a 4-drop vanilla, it's the Strawbeard version. They play like 12 or something
That's
crazy
fair.
like that.
And we're going to go for 3 Nico
We're gonna go
Robin.
for
We saw it last
Robin.
game. And Chopper.
And
Nice.
Robin specifically against Doflamingo is super huge. That card is so goated because you can attack the thing that was played and you can KO the blocker that is probably going to try to protect it when you attack into it. Super strong card. I might even be like 3,000 worldsing this if I have access to that. But
yeah, that leads into the trap of like not being aggressive and only being defensive, right? So I think the play is still to get the Flamingo effect active,
Boa
play the
Hancock.
free Boa, and then do we have the Love Beam? And we're gonna 2K counter out of that. Yeah, just 7K is just not enough. I think you always have to go 8, but then you don't leave up Dawn for a Love Beam, which is just a little awkward. Turn 1 Perona kind of like changes everything for you, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have Kai in hand. We have, man. So yeah, like you said, I don't think Robin goes in this turn. I don't think maybe if we really want to press for cards. But
I mean, I see no reason not to give it a single Dawn and just go poke the Boa and force out of the block or just a card out of hand, and then go leader, force the block, force a card out of hand. Because I doubt we're playing anything bigger than a 4-drop this turn as Whitebeard.
We do have the Rush Luffy. That is playable this turn, and we'd leave 1 Dawn. We're going 6 into Boa. I think we 2K that.
Or block it, depending on what else we're afraid of.
We have the Gecko Moria to start recycling too. So
the patented 1-2 punch of Gecko Moria plus Mihawk. Yeah. The patented.
All right, so we do 2K out of that one.
Do we have Mellow in hand? I don't even think we do. I think we're just bluffing it.
I think we're bluffing Mellow right now, which it's working into his advantage because we didn't commit any Dawn unless we play Luffy.
Oh, we are going to drop the Luffy.
Okay.
Nice. Seems like a bit of an overcommitment to me, but 6K is still 6K. Making it 7K into the Boa, force the block seems really good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
this thing cannot be attacked.
We're just going to go 6 into the Boa Hancock. I think we do have the Love Me, by the way.
We do have the Mellow. We're not bluffing.
We're not
just
bluffing.
The best players in the world. Yeah, we love that.
We just have it. And that means Robin can't attack, or Robin could have attacked, but
it would not have been worth it. It's better to keep up the event card so you can protect your own Luffy now from being swung back into, because it's so easy to go AK with Dofi here. I actually don't think we have access though to using Dofi's effect, but still going AK Dofi into 5-drop Luffy, force the blocker, and then go 6K with Boa. I think get the draw. No, I think we have 6 cards in hand. No, I think we have 5. We have 5. That is 6. Dang, one card short.
And then, is there anything we could play to try to get us down to 5? We have Kaya. We could actually play Kaya for 1, get us down to 5. Then Boa Hancock would actually draw us a 6 card.
Very true. And but then when we drawing into a bunch of Level of Mellows that now we can't use because we know we have a bunch from that Don Quixote that we saw earlier. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go AK Luffy, no effect.
Oh no!
Oh, we are affecting.
And,
no, Don Quixote. I'm blind. I can never tell what any of these cards are.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a few turns ago, and it's hard to see them stack the exact 5 for sure.
I thought I only saw 2 targets in there, a Mihawk and a Boa, but I guess there was 3.
I didn't even see the Boa. All right, so this is going. I imagine it has to go into Luffy, right? You have to play the board game. You have to.
Life is simple? Tantalizing, but I think we're a bit, because we skipped that first turn of attacking, we're not going to be able to force our opponent to 0 on their next turn. So yeah, going for board might be better, just eating up the hand as much.
We should have gone for 9. I keep forgetting that guard. You need 9 to go over guard point. 1 Dawn for Boa. Probably leave it up as a blocker. I almost feel like you want to just attack since you have the second blocker anyway.
So I think it's better because you're probably going to be protecting a lot of characters next turn. So your hand's going to get smaller, and then having that to be like your last block for the turn to draw another card seems probably fine. And now that you have perfect information of what cards you're drawing, that could be like super ideal too, to get something better for what you want in your hand.
That makes sense. I agree with this. All right, so you're Whitebeard. You have 6, 8 Dawn. You're sitting at 3 life. You are chilling. We're gonna give 1 Dawn to. I think we could just give 2 Dawn to Luffy and go for an attack at life.
Are we just gonna swing 4K into the Don Quixote blocker? That seems pretty cool to me.
That seems good too. get the free card. But then like Robin is such a then you're giving your opponent a free attack as well, right? Because the Robin is very easily swung into as well.
Yeah, but a free attack with what? Like their Boa Hancock or their blocker Don Quixote? I'm cool with those things attacking into a character versus my leader, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Plus, Nico Robin is kind of like if you don't want to commit to using a lot of power reducing guards, it's not the best removal against blue,
Mhm.
because you're not really committing Dawn to it on your specific curve turns.
Yeah, and blue's at least Doflamingo's playing is generally playing 5Ks to 6Ks all the time.
So here you got 7K going at leader, perfect number. This could force. I would just use the 2 cards maybe, but I
There's a
think it'll be
Kai,
awkward.
there's a Kai and a Kuma in hand. 9-drop me on, and we take the life. We're
And
gonna go
take
down
the
to 3
life.
life. We're
Ooh,
still
we just
pretty
did that.
healthy though. I mean, 3 life. We're sitting at 3 life. Our opponent's gonna go down to 2, and we're just playing the board game. We have Mihawk in hand. And I think we're going into our 9 Dawn turn. We should because
Yeah, we
White
should.
Beard's at 8. Yeah.
Yeah, and we
So
went
we'd be
first.
able to get rid of. We can actually play a game of getting rid of Luffy, attacking into Robin twice, and just having your opponent not only really having their leader as a viable attacker. And we're gonna attack 7 again at life. This might
Here
be a
we
little
can
bit.
mellow. Here, I think it's totally worth it to go Kaya plus 1K if you have it. I would do Kaya plus Kuma.
Yeah,
Oh, Kaya plus Pacifista.
Pacifista. Yeah,
Interesting
which feels a
choice.
little bad, but
Like if you're gonna lose one of them, I would say losing the blocker is worse at this stage of the game because you want to save it for the late game.
hmm.
But if you have access to like keeping both those cards in hand,
They did
that's
have
like best.
Moria. They had Moria in hand that they could have used instead, but also being able to recycle. Oh, another Luffy.
Another 5-drop Luffy. Strawbeard is strawbearding. They haven't played a single Whitebeard Pirates card.
So it's like
It's
now
only
we
one
have
card.
it. We're going to block Boa Hancock effect, draw.
Draw a card, and then I think protect it with Love Mellow? Question mark. That seems pretty
We
worth.
have we just drew the 2K, so I think the 2K is. Oh no.
Yeah, we drew 2K. Plus we have Gecko Mori in hand, and we get to keep Boa Hancock in play to attack with again the following turn and draw again. Yeah. That seems super juiced.
Yeah, so the unfortunate part is this is the 9 Dawn turn. So do we Mihawk? Do we have the space to Mihawk?
So we're able to attack
Mhm.
things like Robin because there's a blocker in play. Me hawking away one of the Luffys does seem really good. But then we don't get to have any Love Mellows activated, which means our hand becomes dead and no counter. So
Yeah.
that seems a little less ideal. I think obviously what we're going to do first is attack with everything that gets to attack without Dawn and see
Mhm.
what our opponent does. Like we need to perfectly assess here. Like if we can eat a card out or eat the Robin out,
All right, we hit
then
the
I think
Robin out.
now
All
we
right,
are going to go for the Mihawk play. I think the mentality here is we
I can
have
live.
3
Yeah.
life. They only have 2 actual attackers,
Mhm.
and I have a blocker in play, and only one of those cards is unblockable. So I should be safe no matter what. I need to press my Mihawk button as early as possible so
Because
that way
now this thing
next
will be
turn.
attacking every turn, and that's where you want to be. And like getting rid of the Rush Luffy is probably one of the best hits for the Mihawk this early anyway. We haven't seen Marco be searched. We haven't seen Thatch at all. I mean, any of those cards could be played now, but just a Luffy's valuable, right? Like you're playing a big blocker game. Getting rid of one of the unblockable cards in the deck is probably one of, if not top 2, Mihawk targets for you.
And it's super important to keep in mind too that Peter at this point is not intending to attack the leader until they're at 0. They have no intention of doing that.
Mhm.
They will attack every single character card they can, and if the opponent attacks with this Luffy next turn, Mihawk has an automatic swing into it, and then is probably safe from anything else on the crackback.
Absolutely. And now that we've done it now, when we're somewhat healthy, even if we do take a couple of hits, we'll be able to defend ourselves with our Dawn for the rest of the game. We only really need to establish one Mihawk once, right? We don't need 2.
So we're committed to going to 1 life this turn, I think, as Peter. But I think if he has the power to stop going to 0 life, he will. I'm not a big fan of not blocking the leader swing because if we have a third copy of 5-drop Luffy coming down and both of them are unblockable, that's just 0
I
life.
don't believe we had the hand. I think the hand is double love beam.
Well, we have the
One.
blocker, right? So we have the blocker Don Quixote in
Oh
play
yeah,
that
we
we
could
can
have
use on the
blocked,
leader.
and now we're forced to take this hit too, which is unfortunate. So I see what you're saying. We could have blocked with Doflamingo at least.
But it's okay. We're good. We're safe. The third monkey did not come down, but the Marco blocker does come down after Mihawk comes into play, which is super big. And then another blocker comes
Oh
down.
god,
So
triple blocker.
so I know last game when we saw Dofi, I said Dofi loves playing through as many blockers as possible. Well, if you give yourself 3 turns of attacking with Draco Mihawk, you also give your opponent 3 turns of attacking you, which against red is not fun. But when you have 3 copies of Love Mellow in your hand,
You're
I think we
chilling.
can I think we can chill a little bit. So I definitely see a crazy turn happening here where all you're going to be doing is attacking this Luffy repeatedly with
Oh,
everything you
absolutely.
have and then sculpting your hand to end on 4 Dawn active pass and go, good
Absolutely.
luck. I have 2 blockers, one of which is a boa, and I have 4 active Dawn. I'm going to swing 6k. Yeah, perfect.
Uh,
We're
So,
just going to harass this Luffy
not
now.
opting to use the flamingo effect or try to get to it. We probably don't know
No
what
need.
it. We
No
don't
need to
need the
do it.
top. Oh, okay.
No need. We are in defense mode. We do not care. We just want to make sure that we hit 6k to swing over Luffy.
Got you. All right. So we're looking at 3. We have a vanilla Moria from set 2 playable. Could establish another 6 spot. It could be relevant. It looks like we were thinking about committing that Dawn to an attack.
So I think the thought process here is like, okay, do I want a Moria from my hand to bring back a Mihawk to my hand? The answer is maybe. In which case, I only have really 1 Dawn to spare. So I'm just going to swing the naked Mihawk. I think he was debating going for 12 and like forcing a block with like Marco, but he's going to do
Right.
that anyway. So
Oh, we choose. Yeah, we're gonna block the Marco. I imagine we revive it. Yeah.
yeah,
Ace.
discard
Guess
the
I
ace. We don't
think
need ace right
we're
now.
happy to see that from Doflamingo side. We don't want to see a random ace.
Now, if we had Robin still in play, that ace
Agree.
would have been juiced.
Oh my god, that Robin would have been too good. It would have been able to get rid of either blocker. Now we have Marco as an attack target. Do you attack? I don't know.
No,
We're
no.
gonna go.
Yeah, you play Moria, bring back Draco Mihawk, and then you give 1 down to Boa and you pass. And you just have like the craziest defensive wall you've ever seen. Not giving a Dawn to Boa, that seems like a
Do we already
mistake
have 5
because
cards in hand? Maybe.
we
No,
no,
but even then, it doesn't
but like we
seem.
have 5 Dawn, right?
Yeah, no,
But we
that
don't
seems
need
like
5 Dawn. We only need 4. So
yeah,
I think it might just been a forget. I forgot.
might have been a misplay. Yeah.
Because I think we have exactly 5 cards in hand too. We have 6. But either way, we can use a single card and then use
And then
Boa
get us there. Yeah.
and then get us there. Yeah. Now, Whitebeard has an interesting choice here because A, Ninebeard would actually be pretty good right now. And
Be
B,
insane.
oh, speaking of,
That's it.
will this be the first Ninebeard on stream all weekend? The
It
answer is
actually
yes, it is.
is. No,
This is the
no
first one
way.
we've seen all weekend.
Oh man, after talking about it over and over again, we finally see it in the
It's
final.
only a one of, it's a very powerful card, and this is the time to play it. We now have a 9k leader swinging at leader. Good to see. Love to see it. We're going to block with Don Quixote. We don't need this.
Yep.
Do you swing with your Luffy character? The answer is no. I'm going to
No,
force
we
you to
don't want
attack
to
my
give.
leader, who is 8k.
Yeah, exactly.
Get over that. And even then, I'm just going to take this life card anyway, because I'm going to lose it next turn. This is like the most ideal of ideal turns to play a Newgate.
Oh my
And
god,
now
they're so
Mihawk has an
happy about
actual
that.
threat. Now we have removal out the wazoo.
Yeah, I mean, what can we do on the Doflamingo side? We drew into a Perona. We could play another Gecko Moria. Okay, we're gonna play the Perona.
Yeah, now we're back in. Now I want to keep in mind, guys, we have 3 copies of Love Mellow in our hand.
Oh
If we
yeah.
just leave 4 Dawn up every turn from this point forward, we can do whatever we want as Dofi. I fully believe that. Like, I
Ooh,
don't care about Ninebeard. I don't care about 3 blockers on the opponent's board. We can chew through it if we have enough time, and these Love Mellows could give us enough time. I will say being only at 1 life though is a little scary. A
Yeah,
little
for
yikes.
sure. It looks like we're going to Doflamingo. It looks like we're gonna Doflamingo out a Pacifista. I think that might be the game plan. It might be the only play they have. So this is they used 1 Dawn. This is going to be 4 Dawn total used, 5 Dawn total used, and I think it's the play again is going to be leave up double Love Mellow. Oh, it was a Gecko Moria, so they get another 2k back to hand.
Gorgeous.
And beautiful. And then I think we do the 1 Dawn under. Actually, do the 1 Dawn under Boa this time.
So we just take this life if we're Whitebeard, right? Like there's 0 point in protecting this life, right? I don't know why we're protecting it. We're gonna lose it next turn.
Yeah, no, I agree. Unless for some reason
Oh, we're going
we
10 with Mihawk. We're not putting the life on the Dawn on Boa. We don't need the extra cards. We already have so many.
yeah, I
I
don't
actually
yeah,
like
see,
that a
I
lot.
think that's a mistake. I don't think this Mihawk should have attacked.
Does Peter think he has more copies of 9-drop Newgate in hand? Because he does
Yeah.
not.
Well, I
But
mean,
like
I
back
guess
in the
there's.
day, that would have been a good play. Like that actually would be a really good play. Like making sure you force that life card to be taken. But
Mhm.
now that Ninebeard cannot be played again because there's only one of it, I
Yeah.
just think it was probably better to leave your Mihawk active so that way it can't be attacked into, and then give it
Mhm.
down to Boa so you have potentially more access to cards in the following turn when your opponent inevitably attacks into your rested characters and or your leader. I will say having this Mihawk maybe serve as a 9K blocker is really strong. So maybe like trying to attack with it just to bait the opponent
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
doing
say,
this.
that there is potential for kinda giving your opponent the opportunity to almost misplay by attacking into the Mihawk could be the logic here.
And there is an argument too to on the following turn stopping the leader attack because the Mihawk was still able to attack, and you'd rather stop that and take the Mihawk than stop both.
Mhm.
But when you have 3 blockers, 2 of which are Tony Chopper, I feel like you can just sacrifice one of those to a Mihawk 10K swing plus when you're at 0
We're
life.
gonna just get rid of the bow? Okay. I guess we had to.
Yeah, better than just like taking 10 to the
Taking
face.
10 to the face. We're gonna take and we're gonna offer 9.
So that's going to be a mellow. So I think we're gonna ditch a card with so we're gonna ditch the counter first and then mellow so that way we can draw up. Ooh, but our hand's a little bit big, so maybe we're just gonna counter out of this normally with like 2 2Ks and a 1K. Yep,
Yeah,
boom.
that's exactly what happened.
Double Mihawk and a Moria. Oh my gosh, are we just gonna full send with Luffy into Mihawk?
With
Please
3
no.
blockers on board, I don't see
With
why not.
I agree with you. Like just use these 3 attackers every single turn, but
Yeah.
like this Mihawk ain't dying. He's gonna
So
be
what is
fine.
this? 1,
I think it's 11.
2,
I think it's 12. It's
that's
11.
5. It's 11. Looks like 11, yeah.
Where's it going? Is it
And they
going
leave
lead?
2 up.
Give us 1 second to just make sure that we don't need to use any more Dawn. Let's make it
Oh,
12.
we're gonna
Yeah,
make
let's
it
make it
12. I
12.
mean, with 3 blockers, again, with 3 blockers up, it's just too much.
I actually don't know why we're swinging 12 because that's just double level of Mellow. Perfect stop, which we have.
Yeah, we do have. But I mean, sometimes you just gotta put your opponent on having it. And we
We
actually take the
take.
liar.
Oh, do you know what we're doing? Oh my gosh, I love
What are we
this so
doing?
much. We're baiting our opponent to go just 10
Attack?
Dawn on your 10 drop Newgate to go for
Oh, I
20,
see.
and we can stop 20.
Oh,
That
I
I
mean,
think
that did
is
we
what
just
we're going
play
for
okay,
here.
so that's never
And or
mind.
we
That's
have blockers. And or we have
mhm.
like really good blockers. That too.
I just don't see I don't see Doflamingo getting through 3 blockers and having to stomach 2 attacks against. We're gonna attack 6. I imagine it's at Luffy, but I can't. Oh no, it's at leader. Another 1 Dawn.
Yeah, we just
You
go
know, it's
6 6 6 Mihawk,
666.
leave 6 Dawn up, pass. Triple love mellow. Good luck.
Mhm.
Like it's actually a very interesting line of play here. Like forcing like going, I have enough defense to stop you.
Mhm. And we're
Because
seeing
you
2Ks come out of this, so, like, we're getting a little bit of hand information too.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. And all we need to do is force like 2 of these blockers to be used this turn. Or like one of them to be used this turn. And next turn we have the ability to go for game.
I don't think any blocker is gonna be used. I mean, maybe with the
I mean
Mihawk
Mihawk,
thing.
a
Yeah, we
blocker
still
will be used against Mihawk.
alright, we actually oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
kinda
huge.
dope.
This is huge. This is huge. Now we're gonna eat a second blocker, which is huge. Now, obviously, they can just make it Marco and bring Marco back, which is
They
gross.
do
But
have love or I think they have the Rad Beam because they switched it, like,
yeah, but they're. Oh, I guess yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess yeah. But it could be guard point.
not choosing to do Chopper could be a mistake if they don't I mean, I guess that depends. It all depends on the hand.
So
And
Marco's rough because you will always lose a card, whereas Chopper, you technically will only lose a card on the next turn rather than this turn, which is a little bit different in card economy. But it might be better just to use Chopper now because you have a second
mhm.
one in hand, as we saw.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So now we just pass, right? Like we just straight up, yeah, we just straight up passed with triple love mellow. I think a 2K and then 3 1Ks. Like literally going, I dare you. I dare you to
Attack
swing
20.
20. Like, do you do it? Like, do you
No,
just play to this obvious bluff?
If I'm Whitebeard, I don't
Oh
call
my
the bluff.
gosh.
No. I
Like, I don't
think
think I've ever played around triple love before, but I feel like you just have to swing 9 9 9 and instead of 20 20 20. instead of 26-6. Like, as weird as that sounds.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess 26-6 better. I actually don't know. So I think that's 16K counter plus that's 18K counter. Triple Love Love is 12K counter.
Mm-hmm.
But like, here's the thing though, because your opponent's hand is bigger than Love Love Mellow, if you do 20, you give them the opportunity to
Draw
guarantee that Love Love
instant.
Mellow draws.
Yeah, that's true. All right,
Ooh,
we're just
this is I would struggle to figure out the most optimal math line for this. So let's see what our opponent Kyle does here.
going
They're
to do
just going to go
12.
11.
Yeah,
They're
11.
just going
Sorry.
to go 11, which I respect. That's 8, and that is 12.
Nice. So that gets us over.
Yeah, Love Love Mellow checks on when it's played, not at resolution. So
Yep.
you are chilling to draw the card as you counter.
Mm-hmm. And just to remind everyone at home, after this round, we will be doing a box opening or a giveaway for a box to one of the viewers, exclamation mark giveaway. At the end of this round, we'll probably take a quick break, but we will be still be giving away that box to a lucky viewer.
We got 9 coming in. We got 6, and then another Love Love Mellow going to 10. Okay, so we've drawn 2 1K counters off of this Love Love Mellow. Keep that in mind at home, team. We drew 2 1K counters off both Love Love Mellows.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 2 other 1K counters and another Love Love Mellow.
Does Whitebeard just win here, though? We still have 6 done. We can go up to 12. Love Love Mellow gets us to 9. 2 1Ks gets us to 11. We might not have enough.
If we draw another 1K counter, then the 20K swing with Edward Newgate 9-drop was not the play. If we do not, it was the play. Based on my initial math. I'll double check it later. But
Love Love Mellow.
Triple Love Love Mellow. We did draw another 1K counter.
Oh, we did draw 1K. Okay, and then we get out of that with
but guys, now we just go 8 with Marco, right? Marco can attack. Marco can attack.
Oh, if we attacked with Marco, that would have been it. No,
that's game, right? Like, or am I crazy? Am I crazy if we just attack with Marco? Like, all we have is 2 1Ks in hand.
Yeah, no, you're right. Marco attacking for 8 would have been it, but I think it's so risky for Whitebeard that they just couldn't stomach it, you know.
I can't bring myself to do it. Now, I will say, having 2 more Tony choppers in hand, that's probably good enough.
That is probably good enough.
That's
especially with the hand is how big is the hand at this point?
3 cards.
We know it's a radical beam
for Kyle. I think it's only 3 cards, like maybe even 2. Not many.
So just send in the 6s. We already saw the last turn be a couple 2Ks for these 6s. So
if this Perona is the winning attack, I will lose my mind. This Perona very well could be the winning attack. Not even a joke.
What are we choosing?
We're choosing. You have to do as little commitment as possible. No, going for the Perona now, I think is a bit risky because you're committing too much Dawn, like off the cuff to your opponent.
Yeah,
like going 6-6-6 and demanding a card from their hand every time is huge.
Yeah,
but I guess with that in mind, you can't force the blockers quick enough. Like you have to force all the blockers. Is the point that they're making there? So I think you swing Mihawk 10 right now.
Yeah, we're gonna go another 6.
Okay.
Whoa. That's the guard point.
But we just have 3 attacks left, right? So yeah, 3 attacks.
Yeah, so we lose. Yeah.
Watch the craziest 3,000 worlds that we're not seeing in our opponent's hand just come down right now. Like watch this Perona go 6K.
That's true. That's very possible.
Wait, no. We can't give Perona enough Dawn to attack and 3,000 worlds.
So. Oh, bummer. Yeah, so that's it. Dang.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when your opponent just has the double blockers and they save it for that final turn of the game. Yeah. We mentioned this yesterday. That's Newgate's favorite thing to do. And there's the handshake. Peter is conceding. Super close. Well fought on both sides. Peter's defense there was immaculate, but Kyle played very slow, very sort of tempoed with his opponent, and he realized at a certain point, my blockers will get me there. They'll give me enough time to continuously attack. But that Marco, fun fact, guys, for the people at home, could have just had an 8K swing and won the game.
But if Whitebeard had such a weak counter hand, right? Because we were holding 3 choppers at one point, all 4 choppers at one point. I think there's a world where Peter could have won 2, right?
Yeah, seeing all 4 choppers that game was pretty rad. That's pretty sick. So yeah, guys, Kyle Brennan is the winner of the chopper side event at the Monroeville Pennsylvania 3v3. We're going to take maybe a quick little 5-minute break and then come back to y'all with the giveaway for that.